Idea.
And we're live again. Now everyone should be able to hear
Hooray!
me.
43910. That sounds like a Columbus zip code. It was written on my Mass Effect 3 Collector's Edition email.
Hey, nice.
That's a goodie. I'm saving that one.
Never know when you'll need that again, I guess.
Paste that.
Oh, alright, you guys ready to start recording?
Yep.
Or, I mean, we're already doing that, but
Yeah.
ready to start. You know what I mean.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, there's that very nice date. Okay. Whatever. Fuck it. Alright. Ah!
Get it all out.
Plays going through
Go
Knobs'
through
mail.
all 7.
Alrighty.
Whew.
Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Going around the room, we got Knobs.
Hi.
We have the Hannah.
That was excellent. Hi.
Good times.
Like a
If you
Muppet.
haven't watched the live stream yet, don't forget you can do so at twitch.tv/E1M1 Network. I don't think we have anything else to talk about here at the
Ooh, we
beginning.
do have one announcement.
We have an announcement.
TVGP Game Club number 18 has started. It is The Witcher. It is excellent.
Nice.
Yeah.
You'll
Alright,
get your turn
where
next.
do I... Should I procure this? Which way? Which way would you recommend the best way to
Steam.
play The Witcher?
Just buy it on Steam.
Steam.
Can I play it with
Yeah.
a controller?
No.
I don't think you can play the first one with a controller. Do you like RPGs,
Yeah.
Knobs?
Well, no.
Then don't play The Witcher. It is
Yeah.
near impenetrable.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I would not recommend it.
If
hear
you do
just
play,
everything-
play it on easy.
I hear everybody says great things about it, and that's one of those black holes, I think, in my gaming pantheon, and I don't know, I think I should give it a shot.
Yeah.
It can't be expensive. What is it, $10?
Yeah, it's probably only a couple of bucks at this point, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Anywho.
regularly on sale for like 5 on GOG.
Oh, yeah, they have it on there, too. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Alright, let's get started with, Knobs. What have you been playing?
Well, hey, since I've been playing the same stuff every week.
Alright, let's go down the list.
All right, well, we had Monday Night Game Night this week. We did Gears 3. We did some Team Deathmatch and some Annex. And going back from playing a whole bunch of other different style shooters to Gears, it took probably 2 rounds before I was even remotely effective.
Yeah.
Because the sticks on the 360 aren't nearly as sensitive as they are on the One. And it was a difference I really wasn't expecting to notice. But it was significant, even with my Sunday game, Portal 2, which we'll talk about later, when it was really evident, like, wow, am I thinking this slow? Or, oh, no, it's all the way over. But we had a good time. Next week, we plan on trying Dead Space 2 multiplayer. See if that works. If that doesn't work out well, then we always have Gears to fall back on. Or we might even throw a curveball and pull up AC2 again, because we had a fun time with that.
You never
Nice.
know what'll happen on Monday nights.
No, it could be anything. Depending on connection issues, whether or not what we decide to play.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on my Twitter and let's see if I'll do better about announcing things. Maybe call me. I don't know. Something. I played some more Fez this week, and I did it in a dark room again, and it broke my brain till the battery died on my on my Vita.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank God. All right, I don't have to look at this right now.
How much more
Nice.
did you play?
2 minutes.
Nice.
I was all excited. I was gearing up to play. I was like, all right, we're ready to go. And I'm like moving around. I get to the top of the thing. Pew! Like, oh,
Great.
should have prepared for that. I just opened things up, not even paying attention to battery
Yeah.
life. So I could have been
Yeah.
somewhere pivotal, but I knew I wasn't because I've only played 22 minutes of the game now. So that was my experience with Fez this week. Hopefully, I'll have more to report next week.
4 minutes.
Play some more Titanfall. It's Titanfall. I'm real happy where that game is.
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say it just needs more content now. Like
That's what I was gonna ask you. We're what, a month out from Titanfall having launched,
Yeah.
and it seems like the general chatter is still fairly high. People saying like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still having a lot of fun playing Titanfall. Kind of in there. I was gonna ask you. Do you feel like you're kind of waning on Titanfall after a month, or are you still kind of having
I
fun with it?
I think so. I mean, I think my dude's low 49, so I'm almost to the point where I'm about to gen out.
Yeah.
So I'm to the point where all right, I've seen everything else. Where the thing that keeps pulling me, the greatest thing about Titanfall is you never feel like a worthless wad. Because there's always something to shoot, and you're always going to score kills some way or another.
Do you think
And
Do you think that's one of the game's kind of secret strengths? Is
Yes.
those drone guys, where it's like even if you're not good, you can still at least kill a good bunch of drones.
And you never feel worthless. No matter how bad you are at that game, you never feel worthless.
So here's another question. In a lot of multiplayer games, you'll play those matches where you'll go for a 10-minute match and you feel like you've never seen anyone. Like everyone, all the cool stuff is way on the other side of the map, and you're just like, wait, where are you?
Yeah.
Hey, where is everyone? Does that
Yeah.
happen still in Titanfall?
Not at all.
Nice.
Not at all. I mean, you'll run to the noise, but on the way to the noise, there's always something going on. Like
Yeah.
it seems to be. I'm not gonna say overpopulated, but it's a weird, like, it's just enough. Like it's just enough things running around that map, even when you're kind of by yourself.
Yeah.
Because I know I was over in a corner of the map, one station with the one turret that everyone fights over the whole time. And you'd hear everyone blowing up, Titans falling all on the other side of the map. I'm just kind of running around, and some random NPCs taking pot shots at me. I was like, oh, all right, well, I'll go get you. But I'll take my easy kill. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
But it seems to be you run out of things to unlock that feel useful relatively quickly. 'Cause I don't feel like I've really done anything since level 45. I can't wait to get this thing. Oh, I can't wait to get that. Oh, what's the next thing that's going to be on there? It's like the carrot isn't as big.
But at that point, though, aren't you just kind of waiting to regen?
Yeah, but that's never been a thing for me. 'Cause I've never really. Well, this might be the only time I've ever really maxed anything out on a shooter of this style before.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want to.
Do
Like
you
I
do all
Go
your
ahead.
unlockables lock back up again? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so, but you earn XP at 10% faster.
Yeah, for every
So
regen, you earn it 10% faster.
Yeah. Which I think is cool. I think that's a fantastic idea if there was. Now I don't know this for a fact that if like say you have like your standard unlocks and then you have like tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, like everyone they just get a little bit stronger. But the weird thing with this game is you never feel outgunned no matter what level you are. It doesn't feel like the guys that have gen 8 time have any better equipment than you. They may have more amp cards, which makes dying relatively quickly a little more acceptable because they're actually using their burn cards more effectively than you are because clearly they know the game a little bit better.
So here, I have the text here from the regeneration stuff. It says, warning, you will lose all that you have unlocked and be reset to level 1. All challenges will be reset. However, you will earn XP at an accelerated rate of blah. You'll retain your burn card collection and the Ogre and Strider Titans if you have unlocked them. So, they put the carrot back on the stick and they say, well, the stick's a little bit shorter this time.
But there's no real incentive to do it. That's
Yeah.
kind of where I am. Like you're
Unless
not
you want to
earning
fill
anything.
bars up again.
Yeah, I
But
guess.
then, you already did, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where it is. So it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like that game is a riot to play. And I think if you're with a group of friends and once you start getting private servers or private rooms you can set up,
Yeah.
I think that game will have legs like you wouldn't believe. And especially
Yeah.
with DLC coming out, that I think it would be a fantastic game that would sit on your pile next to your console for a long time.
When does
Yeah.
that DLC come out?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw a release date, but I mean, I feel like they're announcing it at the right time. I think now that we're a month in, people are kind of have their legs. A bunch of people probably regened a couple of times. I think some people probably at least, even if it doesn't come out for a month or so, I think at least people will be like, all right, well, it's coming. First of, I think they said 3 packs in the season pack.
Well, that's the thing, like, and that's DLC done right. You want to let your games begin to go stale and then announce something. You can't just like, oh well, we have this coming out, and then in next week we have this, and then next week and they have that, and then it feels like, well, that's stuff that should have been with it.
What's
Like,
kind of disappointing to me though is that it's already feeling stale after only a month. To me that I don't play a lot of competitive first-person shooters, so I don't know if people are like, God, I've been playing this for a month already and still the same old. I don't really know, but it seems like a month. It feels fast.
Yeah, it kind of does, but the more you play it, the more it's like, oh, I remember this. I remember this. There's nothing that seems new and exciting.
Yeah.
Like in a month, there isn't enough content on that game that says, well, everything should be new and exciting. It all depends on your interaction with the players. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that keeps it exciting is watching the game mechanics or the metagame evolve in the game itself.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's making that game even playable right now. Because if there were those weapons, if there were those trump cards that just unbalance the game that the higher level gen people would have, I think that community would die relatively quickly.
Yeah.
But the thing that keeps everything in there is that there at no point does any character feel worthless.
Interesting.
That they're always contributing. And I think that's the game's biggest strength.
That's really impressive too. I mean, you hear a lot of people talking about focusing on balancing in fighting games especially, but I don't know if I necessarily hear a lot about good, solid balance in first-person shooters. You always hear stuff like, oh, Battlefield, yeah, everyone's using this handgun because, it's like 2 shots and you can kill somebody. Or Call of Duty, everybody's carrying this shotgun around because it's just from 5 yards away, you're shooting heads off.
Oh, yeah, it's shooting it's shooting buzzsaws. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's none of that happening. That every weapon has its own little attributes, and it's a lot of fun.
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, that's where the joy of playing that game is actually playing that game. It isn't forcing yourselves to unlock unnecessary equipment or you never really hit a wall on it. It's just at this point I've seen everything the game has, and that's where people from our generation were like, we're more excited about experiencing like new environments constantly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I am with Battlefield 4 right now. Like all we've been doing is playing Conquest. And don't get me wrong, there are matches where I just feel like a god.
Yeah.
Like, and just have an absolute riot. Like, I have almost maxed out my DMR rifle tree now. I got 1 gun left to unlock. Which I don't understand. The second highest gun took 28,000 XP to unlock it, and then the last one takes 17. Like,
okay.
Like, I got 2 matches, I'm like halfway done with it. I'm like, I don't understand. This gun is significantly better than the last one I suffered through.
Weird.
But there's 4 or 5 Conquest maps, and like it's the same environments over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, granted, we get cornered into different areas of it. I think there's one map where literally I'm stuck at the same point. It doesn't matter who we're playing with, we're always stuck at this one point F. Like, last night I sent Donnie a text, I sent a text because he wasn't playing yet. I was like, heading to F, what's your 20? Like, it's... and he knew exactly what area. And obviously I followed up with, military term, because that's our thing now. Because when like Donnie will be on my Donnie will be behind me, he'd be like, "On your 6, military term." So anytime we said anything, we just followed up with military term. Like just that's been our new like meme thing that we do.
Yeah.
And we just it gets us rolling. Or usually me in some tirade just making Donnie laugh is just a joy of playing Battlefield for me.
Nice.
But there's so much stuff going on in that game. It's unbelievable. And I hate vehicles more than anything on this planet in Battlefield. I don't understand how I ratchet it up. There are 3 things I consistently get killed by: shotguns, RPGs, and helicopters. It doesn't matter where I am or how well I'm hid, a helicopter is going to kill me. And not just kill me, go out of its way to find me and kill me.
It's like walking up the stairs like, hey guys, where are you?
I had a guy, and there's one map where it's called the flood zone, like where it's like this little thing in China or whatever. They blow the dam, the thing floods up. So I had a helicopter chase me. I jumped off the bridge, landed in the water, swam out, went into this area about where his courtyard, and there's the helicopter that was chasing me sitting there waiting on me. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, it's things like that, and there's always dumb stuff that happens, like, and it just keeps pulling you back in. Like, there's times where you just rage and I don't want to play this anymore, and everyone else is saying the same thing in the headsets. And then all of a sudden, you have you're tracking one guy. You take his tags, and you're like, "Thank you, thanks for coming out. I'll take those." And he's like, "Yes."
Yeah, pulls you back in.
Or you sit there and you creep up around a sniper dude, and then all of a sudden, 3 of his buddies will spawn on him. You're like, "Ha ha 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 ha!" And you just blow him down. And you're like, "Yes, all right, I'm gonna go jump off and parachute off this thing. Did good."
Yeah.
But the bullet physics is something I enjoy so much in that game.
Nice.
There's one map that's really wide open, and somehow these guys ended up on top of electricity transit tower thing, power tower, whatever it is.
Lightning tower. That's cool.
The suspension things where the lines are going on.
That thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Jacob's ladder. Yeah.
Sure. What? Yeah. So there's 3 guys up there, and dude, they had a sweet setup. They had 2 snipers, and they had 1 dude spotting.
Oh man.
And I'm using like that's the way you do it. And so they're just up there raining death on this one section of the map. So I kind of sneak up, and I'm pretty far away, and I only have a 3.4 zoom scope. So I pull out my little rangefinder. I get the range. I'm like, all right, so that's 1 click up. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like this, and I'm like aiming this. It's like notched down. I'm like 1 1/4 notches. I go pop, 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 and like all of a sudden you're thoop, thoop, thoop. 1 dude goes down. I'm like, and then the other 2 just parachute off the tower.
Physics.
That dude had to have been so pissed because I think I was 400 meters away, and I hit him with a 3.4 zoom scope. I was like, that had to have been infuriating. Like, the dude I killed had like a 20 times variable scope or whatever it was. So their dudes look like huge, and I just kind of see the little head, and I was like, oh, I got him.
Yeah,
but it's moments like this where you actually feel like you pull off a skillful shot.
Yeah,
and
that's the
so
stuff that
satisfying.
seems great about Battlefield is when you... Yeah, and it's even crazy for me to hear, like, yeah, there's 2 snipers and a dude who just has binocular spotting. And I was like, what? You know, it's all... That's the crazy stuff I love hearing about Battlefield. It's certainly not a game that's for me, so I'm not going to go out and pick it up and play it. But just hearing that kind of... the different crazy stuff you can do in there is insane.
Well, it's fascinating to watch people play this game so differently. I mean, there are dudes that just literally specialize in vehicles. Like,
yeah,
like
I'm a helicopter pilot.
Well, the dudes in helicopters are insane. Like, they're racking up 40, 50 kills a round.
Jeez.
I have at most I think killed either 19 or 20, and that's me running from point to point and just trying to be as helpful as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And then there's areas of every map that is literally it's a melee, where it's nonstop explosions. There's one, the lockers or whatever, I call it the hurt locker, because it is section C. Like you have two maps and like it's all in this corridored prison, and there's this one spire in the middle, and literally whatever team gets the C first, and it's where the two teams converge, it just explodes. The dude's chucking grenades, rocket launches, nonstop.
It's like an old Quake 1 map where it's just you walk in and there's jibs everywhere.
It's literally that. I just on that one I roll in as an assault class. I got my little defibrillator paddles. I'm like sink, sink, and I just rack up points that way.
Huh.
But it's a blast, and there's so many different ways to play that game. I don't think I've ever really experienced anything like that. And with 4, the maps are significantly larger than they were in 3, which I believe that was my problem. There were too many people in too small of a place.
Oh.
Whereas 4, everyone is spread out except for the hurt locker, where it's literally a corridor shooter, and it is madness.
Yeah.
It is a shotgun symphony. Let me see. And I played some analog games this week. I actually went golfing for the first time this week because Saturday was beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I can check that off the list. The season has begun until it's supposed to snow Tuesday. Great.
Oh, crap.
Yay.
And then lastly, my Sunday game, I finally finished Portal 2.
Nice.
Again. I should say again because I did finish it a while ago. And oh, that game's good. I forgot how funny Wheatley was at the end of that game, and how creative you have to be to get those bombs to land on them.
Yeah.
I've got my bomb panels here, and you can't do anything about it. And like, I just put a plural underneath you, poop. But I forgot about the adventure core.
Oh, he's the best one.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the space one right away. I was like, oh, all right. Let's forget the space one. And then the intellect one, which is even better. Like, just random science facts. I was so
That's
good.
the best one, too, because the intellect one lies. It's all, like, made up, completely non-plausible facts.
Isn't there one that spits out recipes?
No, that was in the first one. It spit out a recipe for chocolate chip cookies.
That's what it was.
It was not the red one, but the orange. The red one was the one that was.
Yeah, it's just like.
Yeah, that was Joe Mad, wasn't it? I think did that.
No, it was the. Oh God, who was it? No, it was the guy who headed up.
Epic.
Faith No More.
Faith No More.
Yeah, as the lead singer.
I cannot remember his name. Yeah.
But he did all those growls in that crazy voice with no filters. Yeah. It's insane.
He was also the voice of the darkness in the darkness with little to no post-processing.
Yeah, he did great.
Oh, what is that dude's name that's going to bother me?
The dude from Tomahawk.
Yeah. You want it out, but you can't have it.
Nope.
Mike Patton.
There you
go. Mike Patton, there you go.
Thank you, Internet. Oh, he's awesome.
Oh, you had to Google it? Weak.
Yeah, I know.
I did that. That's why I didn't remember. I was testing you.
No. If I could cheat, it's right here. Come on.
Some adventures in jumping need having. But yeah, I forgot how cool it was when that little piece of the top of the building falls off and you see the moon and you know exactly, and it's just you're boom and that little kink up on them,
just all the way away.
and I forgot how. Well, I forgot how sweet it was when GLaDOS actually pulls you back in. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy that game, and it was every bit as good. And I think there was enough time where I really had to think about the puzzle in Wheatley's section 15, 16, and 17. I was stumped.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, each one of those probably took me 20 minutes apiece to figure out.
Nice.
and that was, I think, exactly how long it should take you, like first looking at it again. And it was, I didn't really remember. And I forgot how awesome it was to drop the blue bouncy goop on turrets and just watch them poof
Yeah.
and go fly.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, it's so good. I love that game. It's still one of my favorites of all time.
It's
Oh, yeah.
Ever. But that's pretty much all I've done this week. So, what do you guys got?
Hannah, what you're up next to bat?
Man, I got a lot of Assassin's Creed 4. And, like, no, like, real, like, strong, like, oh, I played the story. It was a lot of, like, ooh, there's a treasure over here.
More little
Ooh,
islands.
there's a treasure over here.
It's the worst
I-
when you're sailing the ship and you pass by like a tiny little island, and the game just on
Uh-huh.
your mini map is sort of like, hey man, hey, there's stuff over there. Hey, do you
There's
want
stuff.
to
Ooh, piece of candy.
do you want to
get
stop the ship and get some stuff? And it's like, but
Yeah.
that doesn't do anything for me. And AC4 is like, shh, 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 shh.
Shh, just stop the
Go
ship.
get it.
Just stop the ship. Just go get it.
You know
And,
you
like,
want to.
that was the best part about this game is, like, I haven't been playing the story. I've had some of the craziest moments in this game. I have taken over, like, probably half the map of forts already,
Yeah.
just because I can. And because the first time I passed one, it lit up red, and I was like, well, I guess I'm shooting at it.
Yeah.
So the first couple forts I took over was like, oh, you just have to take down, 2 or 3 towers and a wall. All right, I can handle
It's
that.
easy enough.
I decided to go south a little bit. I can't remember which fort this was, but I went south, and there's this fort, and suddenly this storm comes up.
Oh, that one's really
And-
fun.
And then you have the 2 twisters around it, and it's like, I got 8 out of 9, and then I got nailed by a twister and
Same thing
just
happened to me.
destroyed. Because I didn't realize I had entered its mortar zone.
Yes.
And all of a sudden I see this big yellow circle. I'm like, I should probably move?
Yeah.
Why can't I go left? Oh, because there's all of the wind ever on that side of me, and it won't let me go the way I need to go.
All of the wind the engine can handle.
But I'm having a blast with that game. I think I'm at like 35% completion, and I just got to like the start of the actual story. Like, oh, so here's the assassin stuff that's part of the game. It's not all just pirate stuff.
Yeah.
But I am having a 100% absolute blast with that game. I really cannot get enough of it, and I think my favorite, the thing that kills me is every time I go in, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go towards the story, but I need to clear this section of the map of collectibles,
Yeah.
because if I don't, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
And I end up sailing around an entire segment of that map and dropping off at random islands and hopping off the ship just to get like 130 gold
Yeah.
out of a treasure
something
chest.
super tiny.
Yeah, just cause, and then getting in a fight with like way too many ships, like getting in a battle with like 4 or 5 ships because I chose my target poorly.
Yeah.
And still somehow coming out on top and somehow managing to board all 5 of those ships.
Oh,
It's
that
the
feels
best.
so good.
Yeah, when you could just where you get one good broadside and you take like 3 schooners out and you're like, all right, I'm coming for that brig now.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'm repairing myself on one of you guys and then keeping the other
Yeah.
one for repairs later.
The other thing I spent a ton of my time doing was the fleet stuff.
Yeah.
When you get into that is way too much fun.
Mm-hmm.
That it actually reminds me a lot of the Facebook game they had for Assassin's Creed right around when I think was it Brotherhood maybe?
Yeah, they
I don't remember.
replicated the assassin coven thing in
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, and it's fun. It was fun on Facebook. It's fun here, and you can actually send ships to your fleet if you have some dock space open. And I think I spent the time to actually unlock a couple of dock spaces because I was like, all right, I need some bigger ships. I'm getting to the point where I need to send these guys out to earn me some money, but they don't have the amount of cargo space I need. Let's get a couple of larger ships going here.
Yeah.
But the best part of that whole mode is clearing the routes of ships so that they're safe.
Yeah.
And I like impulsively go down the list in order and just clear those routes until they're safe. And those fights they're so simple, but they're so much fun.
Yeah.
It's just this like little time based, and if you put certain ships in certain slots, because either 3 ships or anywhere from 1 to 3 ships for a battle, and each time you add one in, it's like, okay, your percentage, your chances of winning this are going to go up by this much or this much, and each slot will have like its own like speed bonus or firepower bonus or takes less damage and things like that. And you send these 3 ships out, and the only thing you can do extra fire barrel at one of these things as sort of like an interrupt, and it's phenomenal. It's just this silly little like it's almost an active time battle system. Like it's a little like Final Fantasy thing where you have your ships over here, their ships over here, and you already know you're going to win because it says, oh yeah, you have a 100% chance of winning this.
Yeah.
But it's still just like, it was so satisfying. I think I played the fleet stuff for like 2 hours straight. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I saw it in the game and I was like, come on guys, again, like this sounds kind of dumb. Like the original in, was it Brotherhood and Revelations? I don't know if it was in 3 or not, but those...
I think it was in 2.
Yeah, I think it was in 2 as well. Those were fine, but they didn't really do anything. And I kind of never really did them too much, but in 4 I was like, okay, all right, I got this little message, I got to go back, some of my ships came back, they made it successfully, and you unlock more parts for your ship, and you unlock a bunch of stuff like money and stuff that actually help Edward in game, and it's not just this totally separate thing.
Yeah, it's really fantastic, and I'm just... this is like already like, even though it's from last year, it's like, yeah, this might be my game of the year 2014.
Yeah, I wouldn't fight you on that.
It's really, really solid.
I got a question about it gives you a percentage heading into the battle. Do you wish it did that, or do you wish it didn't?
Oh, I absolutely wish it did that.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose a ship.
Yeah, because sometimes you could go in and they don't really necessarily tell you what type of ships you're going to be fighting against always, or sometimes it's not incredibly clear what types of ships they are. So if you're going to go in and you throw down a schooner and it's like, yeah, you have a 2% chance of winning this, it's like, okay, I'm not going to lose one of these ships to this battle. I gotta bring some serious firepower.
Yeah. You can sort of tell on their side like what they're bringing out. It's like, okay, this only has like 2 sails and it's tiny. It's probably just a gunboat, but it might be a schooner.
That's true. Yeah.
You can sort of tell, but I'm not good at it yet. So.
Yeah, it's all like silhouettes of ships.
Yeah.
See, I think that'd be fun once you learn the silhouettes of different ships to know what battle you were getting yourself into.
Yeah, near the end you can kind of tell where you're like, you bring in a brig that you have or something even larger, and then they have like 3 sailboats, and you're like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah. I think the situation where I'm going to get to the point where I'm like, okay, by the time I get to the end of this game, I want nothing but galleons in here. Just huge monster ships.
Yep.
Every time. And just like go into a battle with a gunboat with a Spanish galleon and just like
run them over.
Yeah. Like, oh, look, it's kind of like it's just like you don't even hit it. The wake just sinks it.
Dude, that's the one thing I actually liked in AC4, that ramming boats is a legitimate strategy. Like you're upgrading the front of your ship, and you can just ram. Like near the end of the game, when I had my ship 100% upgraded, I was just running through boats. I'm not even shooting them anymore. I'm just flattening them.
Greek naval warfare.
Totally. I mean, it's like you run up to these things and it's like, all right, there's 1 brig and like 3 gunboats. I'm just gonna run those boats over and then shoot the brig once, and if I run into it, great.
Yeah. Oh, but that I really can't talk enough praise for the fact that this game has completely Assassin's Creed 3 took me completely out of the franchise.
Yeah, me too.
And this one has pulled me so far back in.
Yeah. And that makes me so happy, because after 3, I was like, well, we got a couple good games. 1 was okay, and then the 2 games were fine, but all right, well, we had a good run. That was all right. And then 4, I'm just like, Assassin's Creed, yeah. Woo. Yeah. It's like playing AC2 for the first time, and it's just like, oh my god, guys, you have to play. Guys, Go buy this, guys.
He's Italian. It's great.
Yeah.
We were way late adopters on 2.
No, you were way late adopters, not me.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, I bought 1 when it first came out, and I've been sticking with the franchise the whole time, and then it bit me with 3.
Yeah, I did learn a very important lesson.
Revelations.
Yeah, I liked Revelations, but it's not a very good game.
Yeah. I think my biggest issue with 3 was less that it wasn't as good as I had hoped, but more that I bought into the hype, and I was like, all right, this will be really cool, and I bought it like day 1.
Yeah.
And like that is the game that taught me don't buy day 1.
Yeah.
Unless you know that you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
Don't buy day 1. I think the most recent game I've bought, like since I bought Assassin's Creed 3, day 1 was Ground Zeroes.
Oh.
And that was almost day 1. Sort of. Yeah, no, that was day 1 because I got the PS4 and then it came out like a day later.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So I've been continuing playing. I think we talked about this a bunch. I played 2048 on Android.
Yeah.
I got 2048 pretty quickly, and it was the most anticlimactic thing that's ever happened in a game.
Does it just? Is there just a sound
says,
effect that's like, yay?
It might as well be. It just goes, you won the game. Do you want to keep going?
You got a big number, yay.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I can do this, but I'd rather. So I started playing 3s, which is I think it's $1.99 on Android, and it has a much longer tail on it. Let me put it that way. There isn't like a single the strategy in 2048 is very simple. Keep all your big numbers in the corners, pick 3 directions to swipe in, and swipe in those 3 directions.
Right.
That's it. That's your entire strategy. Once I sort of cracked that nut, it was like that glass shattering moment. That like, oh. And then playing 3s, I realized that you can sort of manipulate where the next tile is going to appear in really subtle ways. So if you've got like a full board almost, and you've got like 2 columns like empty, and you want your next tile to appear on the left hand side, you swipe to the right. So it frees up space on the left, and it seems, I don't know if this is for sure, it'll almost always appear on that left-hand side if you swipe the opposite direction and open up that left column. So it seems a little more strategic than when I had first played it.
Yeah.
I'm still terrible at it. I don't think I've gotten a score over like 3,000.
Yeah, it's pretty tough in the good way.
It is, and it really like your only true strategy is don't box in any of the 1s or 2s.
Yeah.
Because if you box those in, you're going to be working against yourself the whole time.
Yeah.
If you can sort of manipulate and sort of, keep the 1s and 2s in a section and keep your 6s, 12s, the bigger numbers in a separate section and sort of keep them near each other. It's not about exploiting keep your big number in the corner. It's like, well, no, the movement's slightly different, and it's a much deeper game than it appears to be on the surface. Which I'm glad I stuck with it. I do still wish they would reduce the amount of time it takes to actually get into the game, because it still takes a good minute for it to load up, and for a mobile game, that is an eternity.
Yeah, that's always been kind of the biggest complaint. Sort of like, why is the loading time so high?
Yeah, I don't quite get it. I understand, they have to sign you into the Google Play thing, but they can do that in the background.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it to wait on that. Whatever they're loading, whatever they're waiting on, I guess, I don't know. Maybe it's my phone is old because it's a Galaxy Nexus. It's like almost 2 years old at this point. Maybe it's a little faster on newer phones, but who knows?
Yeah,
they're generating pegs.
Yeah,
reticulating splines.
Yeah.
So I'm really 3s is sort of my go-to phone game. If I'm just sitting on lunch at work, I'll just be like, I'll play a couple rounds of that really quick. And it's I really want to get better at it, but I'm not sure how to do it.
Yeah.
I played this week. I started off TVGP Game Club number 18, The Witcher. And I'm really glad that I've played this game before, because I can just sort of skip through the beginning part of it, because I've played it I've started this game 7 or 8 times, and I have played through like the tutorials and beginning parts 7 or 8 times, and just somehow got distracted and fell off with it.
And the
Uh, the
beginning is really dense, where it's
it
like,
is,
all right, here's all your stances for battle, and here's, hey, you can make potions, and hey, look at all the
Yeah.
magic you got, and all these characters, and what's going on, and monsters, and I'm just like, half an hour
and
in, I've tried it 3 or 4 times. Half an
yeah,
hour in, they start teaching about like creating potions and dealing with magic, and I'm like, nope, I'm out. I can't. I just can't.
yeah.
There's no ramp on that.
No, it is not a ramp. It is a cliff, and if
Yep.
you don't show up with climbing equipment, you're screwed.
Yep.
Um, so I think my favorite thing in this game is the skill trees, and they're not so much skill trees as they are skill like giant redwoods.
Yeah.
For each stat and for each like piece of magic, there's this monstrous like sprawling, insane looking talent tree. And there's 3 levels of talents. Before level 15, I believe you only earn bronze talents, which can only be spent up to like a certain level on each thing. And then you have silver and gold. So like the talent, the way they scale the talents up, I really like because it sort of restricts you by level, but you still have them. Um, and the leveling is really interesting because it does that Elder Scrolls thing where you have to go rest to level up,
Hmm.
where you have to like go meditate, and you have to do the same thing for when you're creating potions. So I think you can actually do multiple things when you like meditate. You can like sit down, level your guy up, start making a couple of potions, and I think each thing you do sort of stacks onto your meditation time.
Right.
And so you can meditate until a certain point in the day, or however long you need to accomplish the tasks that you've sort of set out for yourself. But as long as you can find like an inn or like a fire or something, you can rest and sort of fast forward or change the time of day. Because when you go out at night, things try to kill you, and they're not polite about it. They're really actually quite angry about it. I forgot how sort of unforgiving that game can be once you get out of the tutorial area. Even on easy, it can be a little rough because you step out and it's like, oh, I'm dying. Okay, I need to get my stuff together here. Um, I really honestly forgot how enjoyable the combat system is. So you have a number of stances that you can go through. There's the strong stance, the speed stance, and then the group stance. And each, when you're facing an enemy, you sort of have to figure out, okay, what do I have to do to beat this guy? So if like you got a guy coming at you with a couple of daggers, you want to go for the speed stance because you're going to want to move fast. But if you got a dude coming at you with a giant axe, strong stance. And obviously, if you've got multiple enemies, you're going to go group stance so you can hit multiple enemies at once. Um, the other crazy thing is the way you actually interact with enemies during combat. So you click on an enemy once to initiate a combo, and then you have to watch your cursor and sort of keep clicking on him in sort of this rhythmic pace. So every time you take a swing, he goes through the animation, and as the animation finishes up, your cursor sort of like has this like fire effect on it, and if you click at that moment, it continues the combo. And you can go through this combo, and you can really start. If you're going through the right stance on each enemy, um, it'll just pull you straight through, and you'll just start hacking dudes down. It's sort of I forgot that the combat was sort of like an '80s action movie, in that if you initiate a combat with one single enemy, all the other enemies will just sort of like huddle around and like wait their
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
Which is the only thing I can think of was like, oh, it's a Steven Seagal movie. They should just put him as the Witcher. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
There's probably a mod out there.
I'd hope so. Just makes Geralt a little pudgier and
Yeah.
balder.
See, the thing I think that really frustrated me about The Witcher when I've tried to play it is it feels like one of those games from the early mid '90s on PC that came
Yeah.
with like a spiral bound instruction guide, where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, if you start this game, you had to have read the whole thing and really ingested all of your homework before you start the actual game, because I felt like the tutorials, and I'm playing the enhanced version, whatever the better version was. It still feels like it's kind of like, yeah, you know how to play this game already, right? And it's like, no, it's The Witcher 1. I don't know. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. So I always felt like there was always a manual missing somewhere. There was some sort of knowledge I was expected to have that the game never really gave me.
Yeah, it is a little rough. Hence why I've started it 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
The last time I started was about a year and a half ago, I think. And I got fairly far into it, so I sort of remember all the stuff that happens in the very beginning. So I was sort of able to skip through a lot of those conversations and just read the subtitles. Speaking of the subtitles, so for those of you out there that don't normally play with subtitles on, I'm fairly certain they're on by default in this game, because the audio very often is sort of incomplete and poorly translated, and they sort of fixed it in the subtitles. I realized today that the opening cinematic for Chapter 1, if you didn't have the subtitles on, there are certain sentences that make zero sense. That just, they sound like they're just saying words. And it's pretty great, actually. It sort of gives it that kind of dumb charm that you're like, oh, it's trying so hard. So the story is really, like, it's sort of, I've always thought the story behind The Witcher was really interesting, and it's nice to sort of revisit this world of, it's that sort of like low fantasy kind of stuff. That's a normal, you got normal peasants and stuff, and then they have like the actual dynamics between, people like the Witchers who are, have been transformed by this process to become these, monster hunters, and people are sort of freaked out by them because they look a little different. Geralt's, practically clear. And they have, there's elves, there's dwarves, but there's like this weird racial tension between the different races, and there's like some straight up racism in the game between, like, I think humans and dwarves.
Like the standard kind of fantasy racism.
Which just, I mean, that's the sort of like fantasy world I like to be in.
As a racist.
I set myself up for that. But no, like one that feels a little more like that. Like it could have been just like this, if we just had magic in the 1400s, is what it would have been like.
As a racist, it's a game I can really appreciate.
As a racist, I can stand behind it. I go out at night as a ghost.
Just like to clarify, I'm not a racist.
Like to say, we here at TVGP Enterprises, not racist.
That's not helping
but
your cause.
But we do hate dwarves.
No, also does not. We love everyone. Oh, God.
Even the little folks we enjoy.
It's just spinning off the rails.
I can't.
The pointier guys, maybe not so much.
Oh, God, I completely forgot where I was with all this.
Yay, Witcher.
Yeah, yay, The Witcher. It's pretty fantastic. Combat's good. There's some really weird stuff, like the fact that if, there's the whole, you get collectible cards of women that you've been with. That was weird. I forgot about that.
Little odd.
So that's a little odd. So don't be too surprised by that. That's a little...
Yeah, this game has a lot of nudity.
You get an achievement for 52 of them? Yeah, you have a full deck of them?
I think there is an achievement for a certain number, but I don't think it's 52. I mean, The Witcher gets around, but come on.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. But yeah, if you haven't played it before, it's available on GOG and Steam. I think you can probably still get hard copies somewhere if you need that for some reason.
Wherever you do that in 2014, I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
probably
a
bookstore.
And yeah, that's the last thing I played this week.
I have spent probably the last 2 or 3 days getting into the Diablo 3 expansion, Reaper of Souls.
Nice.
Very
nice.
Don't know what I was expecting when they said Reaper of Souls. I was not expecting death. Maybe I'm a little slow on the uptake.
That's a big reach.
Yeah. So far, it's been really good. I haven't played Diablo 3 on PC since the 360 version came out. So way before Loot
That's
2.0, way before the expansion. So I figured when I got back in, I'm just gonna finish Act 5 on normal. I'm not even gonna really challenge myself. I'm gonna get my gear up. I'm gonna, go through, figure out how to do. The least fun thing in Diablo games is I don't know where to go, and there's 50 million enemies, and they're all killing me 3 steps at a time. So
yeah,
just want to learn the maps, learn how everything's going on, get the new Craftsman, the Mystic, which is kind of cool, but I haven't messed around with it too
nice.
much. Um, but it's more Diablo 3, and I have less to say about the expansion than I do Loot 2.0 and all the
Hmm.
resulting patches. The expansion so far seems fine. I think I'm almost done with it. I'm starting to get all the achievements for talking to everybody in town.
Okay,
So
nice.
I think I'm in like the last dungeon area. Um, and it's really good. There's some cool stuff, great CG, sort of interesting story stuff. They're wrapping up some storyline bits from the end of Diablo 3 that I was kind of surprised about. Um, and it seems like they're ramping up to, yo, look who's coming back, Diablo 4.
Ah.
Like I wouldn't be too surprised. Which I don't know if that's happening or not. It's not a spoiler. Honestly, I'm so far behind on the uptake on this expansion that I'm fairly sure I can't spoil anything. I think I've played probably about 4 hours into this the Act 5, and I think I'm about done. So it seems about the same length as any of the other acts in the game proper. Um, but I'm really happy with it. The content that's there is totally different. They do some extra stuff. There was something I just did where I was riding a battering ram as it was knocking down this giant gate, and you're
Hmm.
on top of it, kind of Portal 2 intro style.
Oh,
As
I thought you
Nice.
were gonna be Slim Pickens,
no,
the hat up in the air.
that would have been pretty great.
Yeah.
But I liked Diablo 3 when it came out. I've always liked sort of the vanilla Loot 1.0 Diablo 3, and the expansion is more Diablo 3. Different enemies, some really cool. There was a really cool enemy I've been running into today where it looks like this big rock dude, but as you take off about 50% of its health, the rock part is just its arms and its legs, and that shatters, and there's like this really fast lizard thing in the middle that starts
Ooh.
chasing after you, and that was kind of cool. You haven't really seen any of that before. Um, but the primary focus of what I've been playing around with is Loot 2.0, of which it had a lot of in the console version, but they kind of improved more of it here in the
Nice.
PC release. They brought over the really great, very very clear stats. There's 3 main stats at the bottom, which I think is damage, health, and healing. They have some fancy fantasy term to them. I don't remember what. But it's really great because you can pick up another piece of armor, and if all 3 of those numbers at the bottom aren't green, you probably don't want it. And if they
Yeah.
are green, then you can go through and say, all right, what cool stuff does this do? Okay, so all right, it increases these stats. All right, it does this cool sort of bonus thing at the bottom. They have 2 sets of stats now, primary and secondary. Primary basically like, hey, how much is your agility or magic gonna go up? Secondary is
Okay.
is a lot of those cool things that loot does, where one of the popular ones right now is when you use a shrine, it calls out a champion. So every time you use a shrine, one of those yellow mobs comes out, and you fight those guys. So that's
Very
all that
cool.
kind of like, oh cool, that thing does that. And they put a new map system in, so moving between those blue sort of checkpointy things is a little bit easier now.
Hmm.
Um, just seems like they streamlined the game. They cleaned up a lot of stuff that people had problems with, and um, it kind of a better game overall. And I hear from a lot of people that didn't like vanilla Diablo 3, that it's kind of the game they wanted it to be.
Nice.
I never really had that problem, clearly, since I've put a ton of hours into both versions, and I'm buying the PS4 version whenever that comes out.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that it's just kind of more of a good thing and just polished a little bit. So I highly recommend it, especially if someone was worried about what Diablo 3 was before. I'd say now is kind of the best time to hop into it. A bunch of people are playing it. You'll probably have more people wanting to start the game over, especially if they picked up the expansion to level a Crusader. So
Yeah.
even if you're at the level 1, you'll probably find a bunch of peeps to help you through. So still a great game. Still really recommend it. I think the vanilla Diablo 3 is cheaper now, and it gets the majority of the stuff from Loot 2.0. I don't think you get
Yeah.
adventures or rifts, or you certainly don't get Act 5, and I don't think you get the Crusader, but you still get a really good game.
Nice.
So highly, highly recommended.
That's good news.
I finished Fez. So
Nice.
I will talk about some minor spoilers here. I'm not going to spoil stuff because I know some people are playing it for the first time, like Knobs.
Hmm.
I finished it, so I hate PSN. I finished it
Yeah.
twice, and I had to finish it the full 209.4% each time, because
Ugh.
when I got to finishing it the first time, I there was something wrong with PSN where trophies wouldn't sync.
Oh
So when
no.
I got to the end and I got like 2 or 3 trophies all at once, because the way that I was charting through the game, I was gonna get like the collect all the stuff trophies and all the like the last tome and the 32 cubes and anti cubes all at once.
Yeah.
Didn't get any of those because for
Ooh.
some reason when PSN was having these issues, it wasn't redeeming. Like the character in dot in game was saying like, congratulations, you got all the cubes and anti cubes, and no trophy popped.
Mm.
So I don't know why that happened. Um, so when I got to the end, I finished it and I was like, oh well, I kind of want to have all the trophies because I did it. I mean, I kind of have all the achievements and trophies across all platforms except for the PC, I don't think. Um,
Yeah.
so why don't I just go play through it again? So I spent most of my day yesterday starting it back over and finishing it without spoiling it the number of times you need to unlock everything. Um,
Gotcha.
and even though within a couple of days I finished it fully twice, that's still one of my favorite games of all time. Like, even
Nice.
though I was playing the same exact stuff over and over again, there's just something about that game for me that I just can't help but love. I mean, it's in that tier of Symphony of the Night and Chrono Trigger and like the top tier of games for me. And
Hmm.
I think one of the things I like so much about Fez is I feel like there's a real connection. There's a real synergy between the graphics and what the game is trying to do and the music. And I really I just kind of like being in the different zones of that world and just kind of
Yeah.
hopping around and collecting bits and collecting cubes and opening doors and looking at all this crazy math business and all this geometry nonsense that if for anyone that's seen the ending, it just what like it's just there's something about it that just kind of clicks with me. Like a good movie that you watch and you're just sort of like, I just feel good. That's what Fez does to me. Is it just sort of like, it's one of those games that I could pick up every once in a while and just be like, I'm just gonna mess around with Fez. I don't need to finish it. I'm just gonna, like every once in a while I'll pick up Symphony of the Night. Maybe I'll finish it. Maybe I won't. But I just want to play it for a little bit. It's a good sort of rainy day comfort food game. Um, and man, I finally got all the achievements, all the trophies this time. No platinum, of course, because it's downloadable. But man,
Yeah.
that game is really something else. And I find myself more and more sad that Fez 2 is never going to happen. Because
Yeah.
I feel like there's an opportunity for a really interesting second part of that story to be told. And
Hmm.
there's so few puzzle games like that where you have to there's the game gives you everything you need to know, and you just have to grab your pen and paper and figure it out.
Yeah.
There's so few of those games that are that well made nowadays that it's really a shame that we'll likely never get Fez 2. I think we're kind of worse off for it.
Yeah.
But hey, at least we got Fez 1 and it's on everything now.
Yeah,
So
right.
you have something that plays Fez. I played okay. Oh, I have a problem. So
Uh-oh.
Hearthstone came out on iPad. It's not available
Oh.
in the U.S. at the time of recording. It is
Ah.
available in Canada though. If you look at some different guides, and it's free, which is the kicker. If you look, there are a multitude of guides on how to change your region to download Hearthstone, and then change your region back, and then it still works. Um,
Nice.
so I'm playing. So to preface this, I'm playing this on a new iPad Mini. I'm not playing it on a Mini Retina. Don't know if that makes a
Mm,
difference.
gotcha.
Um, I can't stop playing this.
Uh-oh.
I can't tell you how. This was my concern. Another reason why I haven't bought FTL on iPad. I can't I
Yeah.
can't stop playing it. Each game is like 5 minutes. I spent almost 3 hours laying in bed this morning playing just Hearthstone. I woke up super early. And I was like, well, why don't I just play a bunch of ranked matches, and ranked up a bunch. Um,
Nice.
the thing that is really impressive about Hearthstone on iPad is it's still 100% Hearthstone. It it picks straight up from the PC version. You can go back and forth between the two. There's no
Hmm.
separation between the two. It's just your normal Hearthstone account. Um, and it's still Hearthstone. I'm playing against a bunch of people that are either on iPad or PC, and I genuinely have no idea. I'm still, disenchanting cards and dealing with my card decks and buying card packs, and everything is in there and everything is great. Some stuff hitches. I don't know if my iPad is just too full and it's upset, or I'm playing it on something that doesn't have the best processor. I don't. But it's all stuff where it's sort of like, you're looking for a match and it's doing that pinwheel sort of Price is Right thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's a little hitchy. When you are dragging a card pack, that hitches. When it loads, it hitches a little bit. But other than that, the actual
Mhm.
main portion of the game, the actual dragging the cards on the board, all of that is buttery smooth.
Very
And
nice.
man, uh, this thing is gonna kill me because it's the thing that really kills me is that matches are so short. I mean, the longest match I've had since I've been playing it is 10 minutes, and that was kind of a
Mm.
knockdown, drag out, kind of punch up sort of thing.
Get to the bottom of
Nice.
the deck kind of match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Those are
Um,
fun.
and man, it's just Hearthstone's so good, and it's the same reasons why I loved Hearthstone before, just polished up since the beta. I quit playing it when they did the wipe in the closed beta. Um,
Uh,
so it's been
oh, yeah.
kind of quite a while since I played it. More cards, better cards, rebalanced stuff. I got a mount for World of Warcraft by winning 3 matches, so
Nice.
that seems okay.
What's your mount? A card pack?
No, it was they call it the Hearth Steed. It was like this
A hearth
ghostly
steed.
ghostly horse. Pretty
You
cool
you
looking.
unlocked ruin?
Yeah, pretty much. Um, and there's the season 1 of the tournament is going on right now. So if you level up to rank 20 in
Hmm.
ranked matches, which isn't gonna be that hard,
No, I
you
think
get
I
a
hit that.
new graphic for the back of your cards. Looks like a Pandarin focused one. So it seems
Nice.
like there's a lot more stuff. It's kind of good and dastardly at the same time that there's more stuff in the game now, and there's more stuff that Blizzard can use to keep pulling me back in because they're monsters. So good on them, I guess. And it's just, same thing with Diablo 3. It's still a really great game. And now I can play it laying in bed before I go to bed, knock out a couple matches in a half an hour and then kind of go to bed.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are clamoring for it to come to iPhone. There's no way. There's no way that game will work on a screen that's that small. There's even stuff on the iPad mini that sometimes is a little too small. Like when the enemy plays a secret card, some of that stuff is sort of like, wait, what is it doing? Now, why do I have a card coming back to my hand? I don't even know. Okay.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff is a little too small, but not to the game's detriment. So,
Good.
but hey, it works on iPad, which I think is kind of incredible in general.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's very easy to get it from the Canadian store and then switch your store back. You don't even have to put a credit card in because it's free.
Nice.
You just have to have a legitimate Canadian address, which, FYI, Bank of Canada works. You just download it, switch it back, put your credit card info back, and you're set. It's pretty easy.
Fantastic.
And the last thing I played, I actually just wrote this down because I forgot. There was one more game I was playing that I totally forgot about. I played a poop ton of Mercenary Kings.
Ooh, nice.
So I was a Kickstarter backer for this, and I spent whatever tier of money it was to get into the original alpha of this game. And I played it back then, and I liked what they had to offer, but there was barely any content in the game. So the finished game was supposed to have something like 160, 180 missions. In the very first alpha, there was 10. It was very much a true alpha. And I liked what I played, but I didn't really want to play that version. I was happy to give my money to Tribute, who's the same company that made Wizorb. Because Wizorb was so great.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking, hey, you guys are going to make a side-scrolling platformer shoot 'em up. Yeah, go crazy. I'll give you a bunch of money.
Yep.
So they kept patching it on PC, and it was early access, and I just never got back to it. I was never interested in it until it was done, and they announced that they were coming out with a PS4 version at the same time the PC one was. I was like, you know what? I backed it. I'll give them my $15 or $20, whatever it's going to be, once it comes out on PS4. And then they announced it was the free PS Plus game. I was like, well,
yeah,
all right. I love the PS4 controller. I love the PS4. I'll just play it on there. That's fine. And man, this game, I 100% understand why some people don't like this game. It is a game that has trouble explaining itself. Because it is Monster Hunter. I have very little exposure to the Monster Hunter series, but I played one of them on the PSP, whichever Monster Hunter that was. 3, let's say 3. We'll go with that one. I played that one for long enough to find that Monster Hunter is really not my bag, baby. It is Monster Hunter. Unless you've played Monster Hunter before, it's about 30 hours of tutorials, or it feels that way, before you get into a game that seems fairly self-explanatory. I feel like the subtitle of Mercenary Kings just needs to be P.S. It's Monster Hunter, because I think that would explain a lot of it to a lot of people. When you get into the game, the first couple missions you're going to do are boring as hell, somewhat, and they're all in the same map. So I think a lot of people get upset because there's a time limit. You're going to be back in that map. You don't have to scour 100% of the map and find all the collectibles and do all this. You have 10 minutes to go through and go to this area and kill this dude. You'll probably do it in about 3, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. Collect all the stuff that the enemies are dropping. That's fine. Because you're going to keep going back to these areas, and you're going to keep getting more stuff to craft knives, craft guns, upgrade your armor, all this stuff. There's enough stuff that it's okay if you have to repeat these areas, because you're going to need that stuff to upgrade your equipment and your health and all that stuff anyway. I really like it. I really like how it moves. I've always liked how it jumps as this really weird, deliberate sort of pause jump before the character actually moves.
Yeah.
Um, I, I, I don't think it's necessarily that funny. I think they're trying to go for something that they don't ever really hit on, which is this sort of silent protagonist, Sylvester Stallone kind of 80s, 90s pro America war thing, which I feel like they don't ever really earn because they don't get all the way there. You know, if you
Mm.
look at a game that just went in early access, like a Broforce, that game earns that because it goes way over the top for like rah rah America, and I feel like
Mhm.
it gets this kind of wink and nod, sort of like, hey, you've seen Rambo: First Blood, right? You know, remember that thing?
Really.
Yeah. And I feel like Mercenary Kings tries to go for that, but they never really get far enough to make it more than this kind of veiled reference to action movies, you know, and nothing ever really specific.
Yeah.
Um, and I really wish the game did a little bit better of a job of explaining its weapon upgrade stuff, because it seems like when I go to upgrade my guns, it seems like the majority of the guns that I'm going to upgrade to actually hurt me. Like they do less damage, or they do way more damage, but they only hold like 2 bullets at a time. And yeah, the action reload system is fun, but you know, either I hold 8 bullets and I do okay damage, or I hold 32 bullets and I do like a third of the damage. So which doesn't seem to make sense, because it's very rare that you're coming up to an enemy and just having an opportunity to dump bullets into them. It's usually, I'm going to fire off 2 or 3 bullets, I'm going to duck or get out of the way of their attack, fire 2 or 3 more bullets. It's this real kind of metered pace to the actual action. More
Yeah,
like
it's very
Mega Man.
deliberate.
Yeah, it feels a lot. It feels very similar to Mega Man. If you smushed Mega Man and Monster Hunter together, I think Mercenary Kings is kind of the child that they would have. Is it feels like the jumping, the shooting, the movement feels very much like Mega Man. And Mega Man games, you don't go into a room and you face an enemy and just pop, 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 pop. You know, you don't get 10 shots off into an enemy. You're always sort of, all right, I'm going to climb up this ladder, shoot, crawl down the ladder a bit, wait for a minute, shoot, you know, stuff like that. It feels very much the same.
A lot more timing jump shots too.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that, where it's like this thing is coming at me and it has this glowing orb in the front of it. I should probably shoot that, you know, while it's shooting at me. And it has
Yeah.
large bosses. I mean, the sprite work is done by the sprite god Paul Robertson. You've seen his work even if you don't know it. So it's this astounding, huge pixel work that animates brilliantly.
Yeah.
And the music is weak. Tribute is way better than that. It's way too short and way too repetitive, and each area has its own tune. It's not like you'll get a random song every time you go in. It's, you're going to be in this area for 20 minutes. Here's this song that's like 16 bars. You're going to hear that every time you go into this area. So
Yeah.
I don't play that with the sound on anymore. Yay. And the only weird thing is when you go to reload, it makes the gun cocking noise in the speaker of the PS4 controller. So I'm like sitting there in silence, and then every once in a while it just be like, it's just like, oh, okay, I'm out of ammo. All right. But I think overall for me, I think it's a really great game. It really clicks with me. I think I really get it, and I don't mind the perceived repetition, because you always have something different to do when you're going in. I think this is going to be one of those games when you look back at either Tribute's catalog or the PS4 catalog, and I think it's going to be one of those games where nobody felt okay about it. It's either, yeah, I really liked that game. You know, me and my friends, yeah, we played that game and it was great. Or I got that game free for PS Plus, and that was the worst game I played on the console since Contrast. I feel like it's the two extremes. It's only black or white. It's never this gray area or people just think it's Metal Slug and they're like, this thing sucks. Why'd they screw up Metal Slug? What happened?
Is it still in beta?
No, it's a full product. There's like 160, 180
Yeah.
missions in it. There's a ton of upgradable stuff to do in the kind of the hub area. There's a ton of tough trophies in it. It's a full, finished, quality game. I just think it's a game that I felt like they
Should have been tested a little bit more.
No, I feel like they needed marketing. I feel like it's one of those games, and I almost feel like this is one of those games where it's a detriment that it's free on PlayStation Plus. Because people are picking it up thinking like, oh, it's Contra, it's Metal Slug, and it's all this cool stuff, and they go in and they're like, wait, why do I have a time limit? Wait, why do I have to pick up all these pieces of wood and bring them back? Like, this is terrible. Why am I playing this? Like, why does this guy jump weird? It's
You think because the barrier of entry is just nothing
Yep.
that it's easily dismissed.
Absolutely, and I think I think someone wrote in. We talked about it a couple months ago, where is PlayStation Plus a good or a bad thing? And I think it's both, because a great game like this, if they were to come out and they were to put Wizorb up free for PS Plus, everybody can get Wizorb right out of the gate. But I think you put something like Mercenary Kings up, and I think with a game you have to explain a little bit, like Mercenary Kings, where it's like, all right, have you played Monster Hunter? No? All right, here are like the 15 things you need to know about how you're going to play this game. Have you played Mega Man? No? You really? Okay, well, that's...
That should be your reaction every time.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's just sort of like, you didn't... Really? Not even like Mega Man 2? That's... Okay. Have you played a
Everyone's
Sonic
played
game?
Mega
That's my
Man
next
2.
question.
Yeah.
I think you have to sort of explain, like, at the beginning of the game, your bullets don't travel the length of the screen. Like, this isn't Contra. Like, you have a range to your bullets, it's just... It's such a deliberate game that they made that I feel like if this was a retail game, they would have had the chance to go out and explain, okay, here's how the game is. Here's, watch our 20-minute gameplay videos and watch our Twitch stream where we explain the game. But I feel like, even as someone who kickstarted it and has been following it kind of casually, it feels like it just kind of landed. And it was just sort of like, Mercenary Kings, yay! And everyone's playing and they're like, why? Why did you make this game that's broken? And that to me is really a shame. And I honestly don't know how they could have fixed it. A longer tutorial, maybe? I don't know. That's kind of a tough one, but I feel like that's one game where I'm worried that PlayStation Plus might have hurt it, because the general feedback about Mercenary Kings is, well, it's not very good. You don't it's okay. I mean, thank goodness it's free, but it's not very good. You don't have to play it, and I think that's kind of a shame for people that game could have clicked with. So, and if it sounds like a game that you're interested in, or you like Monster Hunter, or maybe you just want to try this game, I mean, it's still free, and it's a good game. So just maybe play it without the sound on. Turn the music down. Sorry. But that's all I've been playing, so let's take a break.
Sweet.
Wow, we're an hour and a half in.
back.
Okay.
Yup.
Hey, Hannah, when you get back, your video's doing that same stuttery freezing thing from last week. I don't know if you have Plex open again.
I do, but it's not actually doing anything. Like, it's offline.
Weird.
It just did it again.
Yeah.
Yay. Let's close all of the things.
That's funny because what we play, like 3 games apiece, maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We're not short on hyperbole.
Well, we are the internet's premier mature podcast, so...
We're mature.
Good time. Yeah, also that thing was weird, because all they linked to was the RSS feeds.
Yeah, I know.
And
I think it's because they throw them in the feeds for themselves.
Yeah, I think they're expecting people to throw them into views and say, yeah, like just grab all these episodes. But
Yeah.
I don't know, weird. Hey, no press is bad
Hey,
press.
well, unless you're the ABC Baking Company.
That's true.
Oh, did you watch that Revisited they did this last week?
No, I'll have to go
They
watch
went
that.
back there. Oh
Oh,
my God, those people are bananas.
I gotta go watch that. It's just, I got so upset when I was watching that. I was like, how can you people be so dumb? Oh
No,
my
it's not
god.
just dumb. It's like that delusional.
Yeah, like
And
that
then and
aggressively
then not
dumb.
and then not see it when you watch the episode too.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh man.
So they had a 2 hour special. They had that Revisited with the ABC people from that baking company or whatever it's called, and then they had this old Greek guy at this little place in Denver, Colorado.
Hmm.
God damn, he made me cry again. That asshole. Oh, it was the sweetest episode I have ever seen.
Really?
Oh man. They took father and son to Vegas, and
Oh, that's not
they
fair.
had this great moment with a oh man, what was it called? With this other Italian restaurant that's been around since the 1800s, and they franchised out, and in every location there's a family member from it, and the guys explaining to like, well, this is why we've been successful, is family and this and these relationships, and you can't fight change,
Yeah.
and just see this old Greek man just start losing it. I'm like,
He's
oh,
just like,
oh, there's a Kleenex. I'm like, I'm so happy for these people.
so there's a new season on right now?
Yep,
Oh, there
just
is.
started.
Weird. Why is my totally legal show downloading thing not grabbing these? Cough, cough.
That and Hell's Kitchen is Hell's Kitchen. I don't know why I still watch the show. It's the same thing.
I feel like I watched a season of that and I'm kind of okay. I get it.
It's like, all right, so I fast forward through the rehash of last week.
Yeah.
I watch the challenge, the dinner service, and then I fast forward through the end because I hate listening to these people beg for their jobs or beg for their spot. It's the same thing as it's like a broken record every week.
Ugh.
I don't know how that man has that much patience with these people. And
Money.
like, well, I would think that they would be more like, I don't understand, like, all right, it's like the 8th or ninth season of Hell's Kitchen. You know you're gonna have to make a Wellington. You know you're gonna have to make a fucking risotto. And if you can't cook a scallop, why are you applying to this?
Yeah, like they make the Wellington every season. Can you not try it at home?
I mean, how do you not have risotto down? Because you know, like, every year it's the same thing. The risotto.
Yep.
I was
like every episode. Like literally every episode you make the same thing.
it's unbelievable. And it seems like whoever gets sent out to the dining room to do some tableside service has the best service of ever.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right.
Too funny.
Y'all ready to go? Is my screen any better?
No.
Seems like it.
All right, let's. What can I don't even like. There's nothing even open anymore. Like I closed Plex. I killed.
No,
I Chrome.
I'm sorry, I was being facetious when I said no.
Ah, gotcha. There it is. All right.
Okay.
Case in point,
Okay.
you should just anticipate me saying something completely sarcastic with no regard to anything.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ask me a question, expect a dumb answer.
Real
Because
quick before we move on, wanted to give a shout out to Diamond English. He sent me a note pointing me towards a baseball management game called Out of the Park Baseball. Downloading
Okay.
that right now. I'm gonna try it. So couldn't talk
Nice.
about it on this week's show because I haven't played it yet, but kind of looking forward to that.
Cool.
All right, I am ready to start whenever you guys are.
Yeah, same here. Let's do it.
God, we have so many news stories.
Yeah, I
I
saw
know.
that.
Good thing we don't have any releases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. You guys ready?
Ready.
I think so.
Alright. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases this week on US releases of April 14th, 2014. Trials Fusion for the PlayStation 4.
What a weird game. What a weird game. I mean, they took an already maddening game and then they put a trick system in it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really
Endo kickflip sissy funk style fakey.
Sure. Yes. We can throw random words together and it's probably a move.
The only way it would be better if it was the Mountain Dew commercial where the guy's riding the horse with the helmet.
That would be great.
It's true.
Dude, Christ there on top of a bull. F it. That's how we roll. And this week, and that's it for this week. And then nothing came out in 2014? 2004.
Nope. I keep screwing up that date. All right, let's move on to news stories because we have about 30 stories to talk about here.
Sweet.
First and most importantly, Borderlands, the pre-sequel announced for PC, PS3, and 360 coming this fall. Not being worked on by Gearbox, but instead being worked on by 2K Australia. They say they've been working on it for over a year.
Really?
Yeah, this is really interesting.
So
is
this just an excuse to get more handsome Jack?
Yeah.
Kinda. In their interviews, yeah, pretty much. So this is basically Borderlands 1.5 takes place in the interim between the end of the DLC in 1 and then the beginning of 2. And it's all on the Hyperion Moon. So you're kind of getting missions from the dude who will turn into Handsome Jack. You're playing as 4 different characters. Playing as Athena from the General Knox DLC.
Really?
Nisha the Sheriff from Borderlands 2. Wilhelm, the dude who got turned into a robot. You're playing him before he got turned into a robot. And Claptrap.
Oh.
Which sounds like a mistake, guys. But I will hold my judgment. I have, even though Gearbox isn't working on this, I have faith in a company making a Borderlands game that they won't screw up Claptrap more than he already has been.
I mean, they really pushed the boundary of him
Yeah.
in 2, and there was only one Claptrap.
Yeah.
Yeah. That feels just like straight fan service.
Yeah, a little bit. But I don't know. I'm maybe we'll get the true character depth of Claptrap. So there's a bunch of interesting stuff. There's 2 new types of weapons. They say there's more different variations of guns than in Borderlands 2.
Somehow.
So there's bajillion guns now.
Yeah.
There's more low gravity stuff when you're on the surface of the moon. There's also oxygen management, which sounds like a nightmare. But again, I'm kind of hoping that will turn out okay. One of the
oxygen. Oh, sorry. I was going to say oxygen management with an escort mission.
Yeah, just the worst game that's underwater.
or if they do it sarcastically, have oxygen management when you're Claptrap.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
One of the 2 new types of guns they added is ice guns, so you can freeze an enemy over the series of a number of shots, switch to another gun and shatter them. That sounds pretty cool. So there's some stuff in there that I think sounds pretty cool for another.
How have they not done that?
What's that?
How have they not done that?
That's one of those questions where it's like, oh yeah, that'd be okay.
Yeah. According to the article, they couldn't figure it out, which is weird.
It sounds like they eventually got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's a whole bunch of really interesting stuff. Gearbox and 2K Australia have been way out ahead in front of this. As soon as they announced, they've been doing nonstop interviews and videos and tweets and all sorts of stuff. So there's so
Yeah.
much content out there to ingest right now. I
Mm-hmm.
think the biggest thing that a lot of people are complaining about right now is why is it on last gen consoles? And they came out. Randy Pitchford came out and said, like, look, we're going to invest in the gameplay, not the tech, and you own. So
Yeah.
you don't have to get a PS4. You don't have to get an Xbox One for this. And let's be honest, they're spending their time on Borderlands 3. So they're not going to spend all this time to port the Borderlands 2 engine to PS4 and Xbox One when they really
Yeah,
don't
it's just
have
silly.
to.
Yeah.
Or a glorified expansion pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they actually, that's a good point, because they said the other day, someone asked them, they're like, why didn't you just do a season 2 of DLC for Borderlands 2? That would have been okay. And they said, honestly, we ran out of memory. They said every time we put more expansions into the game, it had to load more stuff into the base game.
Yeah.
So we ran out of space. And it's like, well,
That's
you know
a
what?
legit reason.
I can respect that. And also, I appreciate them coming out and being honest, where they're like, yeah, look, we tried. We would have loved to have done a second season. We couldn't. There's just the hardware limitations. And it wasn't like, well, we decided the best gameplay experience is, another full price. And they were just like, no, we tried. Sorry.
Yeah.
Consoles are old, man.
All right.
So coming out this fall, kind of excited to play more Borderlands.
It'll be interesting. Yeah. I'm excited to
I
see the
think-
gravity stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I won't have to put another 10 days into this one.
Yeah. Yeah. My real hope is that it's as good as Borderlands 2. I'm not
Yeah.
even asking
Yeah.
for better. I just kind of want more Borderlands 2, and I really don't. I don't want them to Arkham Origins the Borderlands series.
Yeah.
Like I don't want someone
Yeah.
to be like, play 1, play 2, and then play 3. Like we don't want this sort of. If they can make a game that's good, then great. Then make me happy.
Well, I mean, as long as the shooting's fun, you give me some big targets to shoot at. All right.
Yeah, and you make it kind of funny, and put a lot of fun missions in there. That's all I need. Borderlands, at its core, sounds like a game that's easy to make, and I think Anthony Birch, if I remember correctly, who's the lead writer on that, I think he wrote the pre-sequel. So, at the very least, I'm hoping the tone will be the same, which is probably half the battle for Borderlands.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next news story here. We talk about a lot of serious news stories or like a bunch of crazy news stories. We kind of never talked about Leland Yee's, rocket launcher salesman business, for no real good reason other than it's a little too crazy to believe. But I've found this article on Kotaku that Kirk Hamilton wrote this week called "The 10 Commandments of Video Game Menus." And a lot of times I really don't like top 10 lists because they're usually pretty lame. But I feel like, we never talk about them. So let's talk about kind of a weird and strangely spot-on one. So number 10, thou shalt allow players to skip the splash screens. Yes.
100% yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to get in... it says for while players are no doubt excited about the Unreal Engine, Dolby Digital, and Speed Tree, like all that stuff. If you can't, based on your contract, put them all on one screen, I'll watch them the first time. Let me just motor on through them the next time.
Yeah.
I know you got Speed Tree in there. That's fine.
Everyone's got speed tree.
Yeah. Number 9, thou shalt make continue the first option in the main menu. I didn't think this was a problem until they put the screenshot in here of Sleeping Dogs, where the first option is new game. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Or at least be like Final Fantasy X HD, where it just defaults to load, even though it's not the first option.
Yeah, there you go. That's a solution.
Yeah, either one.
Yep.
Number 8, thou shalt not place a montage video before the main menu. Yeah.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, guys. Especially one that you can't skip the first couple seconds of.
Unless it announced itself montage and then
Yeah.
it does it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but otherwise, let's just get to the main menu with the quickness.
Yeah.
Number 7, thou shalt automatically save settings once they're changed.
Yes.
Because there's a whole bunch of times where I go in and I'll be like, so here's one that I actually, and Hannah, I don't think we talked about this when we talked about Infamous Second Son. They had the coolest option in games ever. Because the game just starts, it doesn't have a menu or anything. At the very beginning, the very first line that the character speaks, at the bottom of the screen it says, hold triangle to enable subtitles.
Yes.
And it just,
that was awesome.
It was so cool because as soon as he starts talking, I was like, oh, I forgot to turn on, oh, now I have subtitles. Cool. And I don't have to remember to be like, okay, I don't know what happened at the beginning of this game because I didn't have subtitles on. I thought that was super cool. But also, let us just stop. Just when I exit the menu, just save. I'm not changing anything critical. Come on.
Not even that. Save it when I change it. There's a thing called event listeners. If I click on something, it should just do it.
Yeah, I know enough about programming. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Number 6, thou shalt quit reminding us that the game autosaves. Yes.
Oh, that's the worst. I hate it.
Oh my god. Just change the icon to a floppy and just make it standard. We'll know what
Or
it
a
does.
CD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not even that. I mean, it's so common in every game anyway. You just assume it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
do you have to announce it and everything?
And most of our games now, you can just hit the menu button and get out to the dashboard, and it's running in the background anyway. So, whatever. Number 5, we all shall agree where everything goes. Specifically focused on subtitles. Is it under audio or game or video or wait? Is it under other? I don't know. Yes. Just make one menu.
Absolutely.
I don't care. Number 4, thou shalt giveth the option to invert the y-axis before the game begins. For those of people that do like that, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause-
As an extension to this one, customizable controls. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, why is that not? Our buttons, our controllers have about 15 buttons now. Can I just remap which one is jump and shoot? Because you screwed them up.
Yeah, you did it wrong.
Yeah.
I need to fix it now.
Yeah, now I need to fix it.
Nothing's worse than jump on the X button. Nothing.
You know, I was thinking specifically of like 2D side-scrolling shooters where it's like jump is on the X button and shoot is triangle, and it's like, no, what?
No,
that's not.
No, it's not.
Did you learn nothing from Mega Man?
Or Human Anatomy?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that gives me 2 buttons to accidentally hit constantly.
Yeah, exactly. And one of them is a self-destruct button. Good job.
Yay.
This one, I can't think of a time where this is a problem. Thou shalt agree to use A to advance and B to go back. Or X and O and X and circle in PlayStation. Oh, he's saying Mass Effect B got into the game. It's just...
Yeah.
Come on, people. These are standards. I know they're flipped in Japan, but they're even standard there. So,
yeah.
Come on. Number 2, thou shalt not bury the map behind more than one level of menus. In fact, just anchor the map to the select button because come on already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at you,
Best idea
South
all
Park.
time ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. My big thing with this is now that we have the touchpad on like the PS4, that's my new map button.
And they even use that in Fez, which I thought was great. Tap the giant monkey button in the middle, and you get the map. And number 1, thou shalt always allow the player to quit to desktop.
Yes.
Yeah. And they actually have a good suggestion here that there's one option called quit, and it asks you to menu or to desktop.
Yeah.
Great. Don't do any of this jibber jabber with his, you quit to the main menu, right? And then you hit quit to desktop, and it's like, are you sure? Yes, I've clicked 6 things to get to this point. I'm just gonna Alt F4. I don't even care.
Yeah, at that
Plug.
point, like it's like, okay, so I go back to the menu. Was that gonna trick me to playing more?
Well, it's gonna
No, I
remind
want
you
out.
about the auto save. When this icon is on
Yeah, it
screen,
is.
it's auto. It's just like, nope, I'm done.
Wait, hold auto saving to menu. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Those are all solid, like, that's just design. Like,
Yeah, that's just smart design work. I feel
Yeah.
like that's where we are at the point with video games now. Is like, can someone write a style guide? Like, subtitles should always be under this thing.
the Chicago Manual of Video Games.
Yeah, exactly. Like, can I get an MLA of video games? Like, I don't know. All right, let's. We still have a ton of news stories here to talk about, so let's keep moving on. Blizzard announced a single-player mode for Hearthstone. They're going to start. The very first one is the Curse of Naxxramas, which
Ooh.
I'm probably mispronouncing that because I've never been able to pronounce it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yay, nice.
Aha.
So they're basically taking the raid from WoW, Wrath of the Lich King, and making it single player and putting it in Hearthstone. So there's going to be 5 wings over 5 weeks. Each week a new wing opens up. I think you have to pay a little, like a very, very little amount of in-game gold to get into each wing.
Yeah.
30 new cards, a whole bunch of bosses, a bunch of extra stuff in it. That sounds super cool because I really like Hearthstone as a multiplayer game, but I'm sure I will like Hearthstone equally as much as a let's kind of do this single player dungeon sort of thing. That sounds like a really cool idea.
Yeah, I'm down with it. That'll get me playing more.
Yeah. And 30 more cards? I'll take more cards.
If that's how they do their expansion packs, great.
Yeah, totally. And I'm more than happy to pay either in-game gold, because you make way more in-game gold than you used to. Or, $1 or $2, however much it usually is for the arena to get into there. Sure.
Yeah.
That seems
Yeah,
reasonable.
I can't see it being more than the arena. That'd be silly.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope they do more of that. That's the sort of stuff where I would keep coming back to Hearthstone, where it's like, oh, cool, they have a new single-player raid. All right, I'll get right into that. That sounds like something I would keep it installed on my PC and my tablet just to go back and be like, oh, yeah, cool, they have this new thing. All right. So,
yeah.
Good on Blizzard. I hope they keep doing that.
For sure.
Tribute Games bringing Mercenary Kings to the Vita. This is the Vita Viking corner.
Yeah.
They said that, yes, they hear you, everyone. It will be coming to the Vita. Please stop asking. Now that they're done with the PC and PS4 versions, that's what they're working on. So they're hoping to have cross-save and cross-buy.
Sweet. So I'll already own it.
Yeah, so if you have PlayStation Plus, you might want to just go grab it now. It's free.
Do it.
So they also say that they're working on Vita ports for Ninja Senki DX and Curses and Chaos, which I guess are 2 of their other games. So sounds like Tribute Games is kind of... I'm fairly sure Wizorb is already out on that, so it sounds like they're kind of throwing more weight behind the Vita, which...
Sweet.
Good. Vita needs more stuff.
Yes, it does.
In other indie news coming to the Sony platforms, Transistor, Supergiant Games' second game after Bastion, coming out for $20 on PC and PS4 on May 20th. Way earlier than I thought. I thought that was going to be like October. That is already nearly out. It's a month away. I cannot explain how excited I am for that.
Oh, Bastion was so good.
Yeah, I really loved Bastion, and what little I've seen of this game, because I'm going to buy it, so I'm kind of trying not to spoil myself. This looks super crazy and super great.
Yeah. Same dude doing the soundtrack too.
Even better. Great.
Yeah.
So they say they'll be working on the OS X and Linux versions right after that, and they don't have plans for other platforms, but it says it hasn't ruled anything out, which is telling me that it's a timed exclusive on PS4, so it'll be on Xbox One in about 6 months. So,
Yeah.
you know, just yeah, and probably Vita at that point too. So
Let's go.
good stuff.
Yep.
So remember all those copies of ET that are apparently in a New Mexico or Nevada landfill? That dig is actually happening now.
Oh wow.
Hey,
It's coming, and Microsoft is producing a documentary surrounding it. They're digging in 2 weeks on April 26th.
Wow.
And if you're in the area, which is, I'm going to look it up, Alamogordo in New Mexico.
That sounds made up.
Yeah, I couldn't have pronounced that like more of a white dude. If you're around that area on that day, you can come and watch the dig, and hopefully it's not like that Geraldo thing.
Yeah, and that's not like Capone's vault. I
Yeah.
hope it is.
Hey,
oh,
look
I
at this
so hope
giant
it is.
hole that's empty.
I do too, and then all of a sudden Atari comes out. It's like, ha! They're at this other place in Juarez.
Yeah, just kidding. No, there's just
Well,
there's just a note in there. It's like step 2. Go to this place. Go to the place where the corners meet and dig. And it's just like, where is it?
You know, it'd be funny if they dig in this place and they dig up that Jeep from the Tomb Raider thing that no one found.
That'd be funny.
That'd be great. Oh man,
awesome.
so
And Jeep's like, oh, that's what was there? These games of E.T.?
oh, so weird.
Oops.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's we'll see in about 2 weeks whether or not it's empty. Which man, I
Yeah.
hope so.
I
But I
so
kind of hope
it is.
not.
It'd be great.
Either way, we win.
Yep.
Microsoft says that they are looking into a way to emulate 360 games on the Xbox One.
Good.
There was during part of Microsoft's Build conference, partner development lead Frank Savage, he was asked if there were any plans to bring the Xbox 360 emulator to PS1, which he replies, quote, "There are, but we're not done thinking through them yet, unfortunately."
Okay,
He also
so-
says, quote, "Turns out to be hard to emulate the Power PC stuff on the x86 stuff, so there's nothing to announce, but I'd love to see it myself," end quote.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would
right?
have thought an entirely different chipset was really hard to emulate on another different chipset? That's almost like why we don't have an original Xbox emulator on PC. Crazy.
Right?
Yeah. But I think it's kind of nice that they're at least thinking about it. They're at least saying,
Yeah.
like, this is a vast change from the Microsoft of even a couple weeks ago where, what was it, during E3 when people were like, what about backwards compatibility? And who was, it wasn't Phil Spencer, but it was someone else, I think, who was like, well,
Yeah.
if you want backwards compatibility, you're really backwards. And everyone's like, no. That's why Knobs is running his 360 through his Xbox One. We still have games to play there. Like,
Yeah.
Come
There's still
on.
content, especially this generation, because the split is so weird.
well, imagine, when you look at, let's look at Persona 5. It's coming out in 2015 for PS3. When you look at Borderlands, the pre-sequel, that's coming out fall 2014. Like, it's at the point where if I could pop that into my Xbox One to play it, great. You would
Yeah.
definitely have a sale. But now, is my 360 still going to work? Maybe.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's why we dust it off every Monday night.
Yeah, there you go. Keep that thing well oiled.
Keep it in good playing shape.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of playing shape, unfortunately, the GameSpy back-end software, the website I think was closed down a while ago, is now shutting down. So the thing that was great before Steam got good is now finally riding off into the sunset.
Right. I'll be so happy to stop seeing that stinger everywhere.
Yeah, that's the bad part. A lot of games aren't going to work anymore, like Borderlands, or Saints Row 2, or Star Wars Battlefront.
What?
There's a lot of other games that are kind of questionable, like the entire Crysis franchise. Most of it uses GameSpy. The whole Quake series, 2, 3, and 4. Titan Quest. All of the Warhammer 40k games.
Yeah.
What?
Unreal Tournament. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online. Like there's a
Oh no, that
bunch.
one's listed under unaffected
Oh, that
there.
one will be okay. That's one of the
Yeah.
6 games in the bottom section where it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. But yeah, that wasn't a surprising because before Steam got good, by around the time that Half-Life 2 started getting patched,
Yeah.
GameSpy was kind of your only option.
Mm-hmm.
And even after Games for Windows Live came out, everyone was like, "Wow, I'm still gonna stick with, I'm gonna stick with GameSpy because, holy crap, that thing is something else."
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer. Not all of the Games for Windows Live games have been patched to remove it. Microsoft, I'm looking at you. Viva Pinata will stop working soon. Fix it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of concerned about all of those GameSpy games.
Yeah.
Man.
Rough stuff.
Moving on here because we still have like 4 news stories. Marvel superheroes are coming to Disney Infinity. So
Ooh.
a million geeks' wallets cry out all at once.
Yeah. It's a figures and video game. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's like 5 things in one.
Yeah. That's pretty much the smartest choice that they could have made.
That's a
Yeah.
cash cow.
Yeah, especially with
Oh, man.
especially with the movies doing really well and the comics doing really well and everybody's
DC
kid
not
probably
doing
having
really
Disney
well.
Infinity. You probably already have the stuff. Now your kid and their parents can all go buy.
Well,
Figurines.
and their father.
Well, let's not be gender exclusive here. Ladies read comics too. They're probably just not going to collect a million dumb figurines because they're smarter than us.
I was
certainly
actually
are.
going to point that out, but
Yeah. Yeah. But I am going to promise to myself, we are buying a house. I'm not going to buy Disney Infinity because I know they have Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. Once that starts, it never stops.
yeah, you can't close that floodgate.
I can't.
You
Hey,
can't
Hearthstone
unring
is
that bell.
yeah, Hearthstone is free. I'll play that.
Yeah, just keep saying that to yourself.
Yeah, Hearthstone is free. I can play whatever I want. I'm not paying anything. It's just so good. I gotta go.
Yeah.
All right, next news story: The Last of Us remastered. Hey guys, it's coming out.
Yeah.
Coming out to
Worst kept secret for the PS4.
Yeah, coming out to PS4 summer 2014. $60, all the DLC, blah blah blah. Go pre-order to get some extra stuff.
Yay.
There's one cool thing that's exclusive. There's a director's commentary for all the in-game cinematics. That's kind of cool. Sort of wish they would have gone Valve style with it and had commentary in the game. That's one
Yeah.
of the best ways to play Portal 2 a second time.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm kind of upset about is, I was okay with the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition because Tomb Raider had kind of been out for, I felt like, long enough to say like, all right, it's $60 and not enough people played it, maybe, all right, it's gonna look so much better. And maybe it's because I liked Tomb Raider and Last of Us never really clicked with me.
Yeah.
This is gonna be $60. And the real bummer of it is there's no PS3 to PS4 $10 upgrade thing. Like some of those
that's a
launch
bummer.
games
Oh
are.
man.
And I think to me that's kind of a missed opportunity because I would cough up that $10 right away just to try it again to see if I liked it the second time.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to cough up $60. I'm not even going to cough up $30. Like for a game that I know I didn't enjoy, $10 to try again,
No.
I can do that. $30 or more dollars? That's not something I'm going to do.
That's a tough sale, especially if someone's been burned by it once. You're never gonna get that person back.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
especially for 60. There's no way. I would rather go buy a new game that I'm sure that I would enjoy
Yeah.
rather than a good game that never clicked with me. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey man, if you've never played the game before, now's a pretty good time to hop in
Well,
on it.
maybe that's the market they're looking for, the people that skipped it because of the next gen coming out.
Yeah.
But still, 60 for a game, that's old hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, two more news stories here. Nintendo did this super huge Smash Brothers thing. I have no interest in talking about the majority of the stuff. You know it anyway. Hey, there's more characters. Yay, Smash Brothers is coming out.
What? No.
Yeah. The thing I wanted to talk about was this really cool system they announced for playing online with people. There are two modes, for fun and for glory. So for fun is basically, I just want to get in, I want to mess around with stuff. Random stages, except for the stage that is the for glory one. All items, Smash battles, only wins are recorded in your rankings. Then on the other side of the coin is for glory. It's only final destination. So just that really medium-sized, flat plane stage. No items.
Okay.
You can do one-on-one battles, and wins and losses are recorded.
Nice.
I actually really like this. The more I've been thinking about this, I kind of like that there's... It's kind of like ranked and unranked, but it's more like, hey, It's literally the name. I just want to get in and I want to have some fun. Like, I just want to play online with some randos. I don't care about, like, well, we can't have these items and there's no Kirby in this game, you know, like setting up all these rules. You know, I want to get in, I want to see some crazy stuff. And the For Glory, like, if you're crazy competitive with Smash Brothers, you can play the only stage that competitive Smash Brothers players play with no items and all the crazy business that they do.
Yeah.
I have to give Nintendo a lot of credit. I feel like that's a really smart choice to say, like, hey, let everybody that wants to have fun over here, everyone that's crazy about Smash Brothers, you guys go over in this corner where it's just the one stage and just go nuts. So good on them. I feel like this is a new Nintendo where before they would have been like, yeah, rankings for what? Like, what do we... wins and losses? Like, why do you care? And this is sort of like 10 steps beyond, where it's like, all right, we're gonna do all this stuff. We're gonna, make all these modes. So good on them. I mean, that's the
Stroke
Nintendo
your fight card.
Yeah, that's the Nintendo we kind of want to see. And the last one, a real small news story, but I don't think we've ever talked about it. NVIDIA launches GeForce Experience 2.0. They optimize a whole bunch of stuff like Twitch, Shadow Play, Game Stream, all that stuff. The cool stuff for the notebooks. I feel like not enough people use GeForce Experience. I kind of wanted to, like, nobody's paying me to say this clearly. But I kind of wanted to put a plug out for GeForce Experience. If you have an NVIDIA card, please, next time you go and install your drivers, install GeForce Experience, because what it does now for the last couple of versions is you fire up a game and then you quit back out. You go in, you have to fire it up at least once. You go into GeForce Experience and you say, optimize this game. And it takes into account your video card, your RAM, your hard drive, your processor, all of your computer, and optimizes the game so it runs the best and looks the best for your specific machine. Before, it used to only do video card, and it would kind of like pump the whole thing up, and your processor would melt. It does such a great job because it'll even go down into like INI files and tweak some of that stuff. So it goes super low to say, like, all right, you've got this video card and you can make it look really great, but we're going to have to pull down shadows because that thing's going to kill your card. Or, we're going to pull down a little bit of AA, but we're going to pump up, PhysX, and we're going to pump up, a bunch of other stuff, draw distance, stuff like that. So
for sure,
if you have an NVIDIA card, please go try it. It's super, super, super cool, and it sounds like one of those things where you're like, I don't want it to optimize my this isn't. But you know what? As someone who's used it for about 6 months, it does a really, really good job, and I
that's good to hear.
Absolutely recommend it.
It's one of those things that we used to do forever, going through every setting, checking, is this better or worse?
Yeah, exactly.
Camera one, is it 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
It's the
INI
one or
two.
Game settings.
All right,
like
2 or 3.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
All right, flip around, and then just see like, well, all right, 1, 2.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I played with settings, and I don't know how many different games just to make it run.
Yeah.
Yeah, been there.
But it's one of those things that seems like is a pipe dream style thing that's like, it does it for me? Really?
Yeah, like
That can't
Yeah.
work.
in the 90s would have been like, man, if it could just go in here and like figure this out. And now it can.
Like
It's pretty
like
good.
No, okay.
it has system requirements. I meet all this. Why do I have to play with this stuff? Like, oh,
Yeah.
all right.
All
Yep.
right, let's move on to tweets here.
All right.
Tweets.
It's
This guy whose name is off the screen, OC Endless, writes, last week you listed games of critical acclaim which didn't click with you. Excuse me. Mine's Mario Galaxy. Very linear compared to Sunshine and 64. I feel like that, when we were having that conversation, that is one of those examples where I certainly don't agree with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's one where you can sort of be like, yeah, I can. That's controversial, but yeah, I get it. I can see where you're coming from. That's a good choice. So
yeah.
good vote in that ring. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Gibinator writes in and says, "What are your comfort food games? The games you play after a bad day and say, at least this still makes sense to me."
Oh, God.
We talked about it a little bit earlier. For me, it's Fez, it's Symphony of the Night, it's Rez, it's
Yeah.
every Extend Extra Extreme.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Luminous.
a great one.
Yeah, Luminous. Like,
Yeah.
I think the majority of them are either games. For me, it's either kind of puzzle games, puzzle arcade.
Yeah.
It's
Ooh, that's
either
another great
puzzle
one.
games where I kind of don't care if I lose, or
Mhm.
they're games that I can just kind of live in for a little bit, like Fez, where it's like I'm
Yeah.
not really gonna do anything. Or like Symphony of the Night, where I just have the whole thing memorized and I just don't really have
Yeah,
to think
something
about
I
it.
know I can succeed at, like Mega
Yeah.
Man 2. That's one of my biggest ones. Is
Yeah.
if I'm having a bad week or something, I'll just sit down and plow through Mega Man 2 in an hour.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, I got a win. I got one win this
Yes.
week. That was Mega Man 2.
Oh, I got 9 wins, technically.
There you go.
I think one of the one ones I think we rarely talk about is amplitude and frequency for me.
I was just about to
It's,
bring up Rock Band 3.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the same vein,
Yep.
because it's a skill that you have to be so focused on. You can't. It's never automatic.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things. It sucks you out of whatever was going on in your head because it requires so much focus. It almost kind of recenters you, and that's one thing I really enjoy about those games.
Well, I really
Yeah.
like every once in a while playing a game that I've played before that is skill based like that I don't have to fight with. Like if I
Yeah.
was to go back and play like Bayonetta, play it on easy difficulty and just kind of like, sure, I can do some cool stuff that looks cool with some skill, but I know, and same thing with Rock Band. Like I can bang out most of the songs on Rock Band on expert, and it feels good to kind of push your skill again a little bit, and it just sort of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got this, I got it, don't
For
worry about it,
sure.
I'm good.
Hey,
Indeed.
doom 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 doom.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go play it.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right,
Boops and beeps.
let's move on to emails here.
Emails.
Oh, we've got one from the first person that. Here we go. All right.
Haha.
He says, "Hello, this is Jean-Francois from Quebec, Canada. Hello to our Great White North.
Hello.
Listening to last week's show, I've heard the Vita Viking speaking about his experience with Vita Remote Play used as a second screen during Couch Co-op PS4 session, and the whole group speaking how this is something we always wanted. And this made me realize how badly the Wii U has failed to get its message across. I mean, this kind of experience that has been there before the release of the system. Things like surely one of your own favorite Sonic the All-Stars Racing Transformed allow you to play two players with one player watching the gamepad and another watching the TV, which is awesome for a kart racing game.
Yeah.
And this also allows up to 5-person couch co-op sessions. Unfortunately, I don't think most gamers today know about this. Yeah, I didn't even know about that, and I love the Sonic racing games, and that's kind of
Yeah, it's fantastic.
that's the exact thing we were talking about last week. Where it'd be like, yeah, I have one TV, and I have two people, and split screen sucks. How can we get around
Hmm.
this?
Yeah.
Gamepad.
Well, I will say that with Mercenary Kings, it was more of a convenience issue because, well, I got my own screen right here. It was still split screen.
Yeah,
Because it really, all it does is mirror your display.
yeah, yeah. Long intro for a small question around the usual Nintendoomed theme, which is a very good term. I'm going to steal that. We all know
Yes.
that in June, Iwata might get kicked out by the investors. That certainly is the groundswell we've been hearing.
Yeah.
And the game's schedule for the next few months is barren. Overall, all seems lost for the Wii U right now. Do you think Nintendo should just give up on the Wii U and just focus on the 3DS? And he kind of continues here. I totally love my Wii U. As a father of a small family, the gamepad was my main reason for buying the console so that I don't monopolize the TV. But even I
Yeah.
cannot close my eyes to the fact that right now they're bleeding money all over because of this, and only the 3DS is tending their wounds. If Mario Kart and Smash Bros. Next winter cannot save them, if they don't announce the next Zelda at E3, what can they still do to save the Wii U? Thanks for the show. Always a joy to hear Monday morning to fight the sadness of going back to work.
Mhm.
I this is always a really interesting question of, like, what does Nintendo need to do to save the Wii U? They don't need to do anything because they don't care.
They don't.
They can put out
Um,
one game a year, and it's a Zelda, it's a Mario. This year is going to be Smash Brothers, which will sell a ton, hopefully.
Yeah.
And a Mario Kart. They're done.
Yeah.
That's all they
What
got.
the only thing they can do is really aggressively market it and market it smartly. Explain it.
Mhm.
Explain
It's-
it better than they have.
it's-
That's
Yeah.
really it.
It's 100% a branding issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
If it was any other name, I don't think they would have any of these real problems.
No.
It's
Yeah.
because of the way they named it and the way that it was advertised.
Yeah.
I think they need to change the way you think of it. Instead of calling it the Wii U, just call it the U. I mean, you have to change something.
Yeah, they have to get the market, they have to get the message out there, which is still getting confused. That
Yep.
the gamepad.
People still think it's a controller.
Yeah, the gamepad isn't a controller for the Wii. The Wii U isn't the new gamepad. It's the gamepad and the thing that looks like the old Wii.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Which is another problem, but
yeah, I mean, I think honestly, Nintendo doesn't have to do anything. They're still selling consoles. They're still selling games. They will continue to sell full-priced copies of new Super Mario Bros. Wii U until the next Wii comes out because they don't have to do a price drop. And
Yeah.
they do okay, and I think we need to stop thinking about. I'm definitely not criticizing Jean-Francois, but I think we as the gaming culture really need to stop thinking about Nintendo as third place.
yeah.
They're on the sidelines. They don't care. They're on
Yeah.
the bench collecting a check, saying like, "Well, you guys are the ones running around. I'm not doing anything." Great.
They're not even injured. They're third string with a ton of endorsement deals.
Yeah, they're wearing their jersey and a pair of jeans, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm just here to root on the other two teams." Great.
They're the
And sell
high-paid
Samsung
backup
products.
quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And they're happy to do that.
Mhm.
They don't
They are.
really they don't really necessarily care about whatever anyone else is trying to do because they're making plenty of money being Nintendo. And
Yeah.
Well,
sure, the 3DS helps, but they don't want to be number one. They don't care.
They don't.
Well, they really haven't been in a console race since
The
the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, the Super NES.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because after that point, they've always just tried to do something different. Now,
Yeah.
look at the Virtual Boy, GameCube, Nintendo 64, I'm going to say too.
Mhm.
And then now the Wii U. Out of those, and the Wii, and out of those 5 attempts, they've knocked one out of the park.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's a matter of capitalizing on a niche.
Let's say 1.5 because I feel like during in its heyday, the N64 was a must-have system for gamers. I think the reason they knocked the Wii out of the park was Wii Sports was a must-have game for everybody.
Yes.
Well, they capitalized on a niche market and was able to exploit that to get those things in everybody's house.
Well, and I think they were able to exploit the niche market to get it in everybody's house. I think that was the first console since like the NES and the Genesis where everybody had to have one.
Yeah.
And that's where Nintendo, like, hey, look, once at 1 out of 5, 1.5 out of 5. I mean, that's their business model, and it's not operated like he's like, we don't need to be in a cutthroat competition anymore.
Yeah,
our name has the cachet. Whatever we pull out, we know. Whatever we put out, we know a certain set of people are going to buy. It's depending on those people to convince everyone else to buy it.
Yeah, and their handhelds have always done well enough, and Nintendo doesn't care about money most of the time. Like, I think people think that if one console does poorly, then Nintendo's going under. Not even close. I mean, they have 120 years worth of money that they're sitting on. That if they take the chance and it doesn't work out, like with the Virtual Boy, like with the GameCube, and it doesn't pan out, great, they'll try something else and wait until lightning strikes, and then just hoard all that money and say, like, well, let's keep trying stuff because, hey, we got 1 out of 5.
Well, for as hard as the U struck, that pretty much bought them 15 years because they made more money on the Wii than probably the PlayStation 2, 3, Xbox, all the entire Microsoft thing combined.
Yeah, you saw when we were still talking about sales numbers on the show. I mean, it was tens of thousands of Wiis being sold every month. I mean, just astronomical money. And sure, for a while there, they weren't making a profit, but you were buying a Wii and you were buying a couple of Nintendo games, and probably Wii Sports Resort because it was another Wii Sports. So, they were doing okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
It's just their investors will be upset because that money doesn't continually come.
Yeah, and I think that's why they're upset with Iwata right now is because I get the impression from how the investors are talking is that they're upset that Nintendo appears to be resting on its laurels with the Wii and they're not innovating fast enough. But that's never necessarily Nintendo's business. Nintendo's business is, you're going to buy this console and you're going to play each and every Nintendo game that comes out on it because those are the highest quality games on the platform. And hey, we get nearly all of the profit for those because we own the platform and we own the games and we own the distribution. So at that point, it's nearly pure profit.
Oh yeah, it's complete vertical integration, and they're the only company that can do that.
Yep.
Because they've had the major successes in their history that it might be down now, but it's gonna bounce back up at any moment, and you never know. Because honestly, from our point of view, we never thought the Wii was going to be a success.
No. I mean, remember when they showed that at E3 and it was Wagglegate 2010 or whenever it was, and we were like, no, this thing is, man, we thought the Virtual Boy was bad. We thought, but the same thing happened with the DS, where we're like, why do I need 2 screens?
Yeah.
What is this doing?
Now you can't imagine not having 2 screens.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
That's where Nintendo succeeds, is they give you something that is a dumb idea that they have completely vetted and they have completely tested. And by the time you get in your hands and you get good proof of concepts, you're in. You're sort of like, oh, well, yeah, the Vita's nice, but, I'd like to have the map on this other screen. Like, I'm sure someone has had that conversation at some point.
Yeah.
So.
It integrates with my Vio tablet that I set in my lap because now I have $2,000 worth of merchandise in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on to next email. King Pipboy writes in. He received an email from Classic Game Fest 2014. I usually don't talk about this stuff, but he passed it along, and it seems super cool.
Yeah.
In Austin, Texas, August 16th and 17th, for $10, you can get in for the whole weekend and just go see some super cool classic game stuff. The dude who wrote Ready Player One, Eric Klein, is going to be there, and just a
very cool.
bunch of retro game vendors. It sounds like it's primarily focused on kind of enjoying a bunch of retro game stuff. So I know there's a bunch of stuff in California. There's some stuff in Chicago too. So
Yeah.
if you live in the South and you've got a little bit of time and only a couple of bucks, go check that out.
Yeah.
Our next email is from Montag, titled, "Does anyone even read the subject line on these?" I do, Montag. I do.
Indeed.
He has 10 questions here. It says, "Hey everyone, Montag here. Before I begin, this is for Hannah.
Okay.
You said that Spelunky without any randomization would be your game in hell. Interestingly enough, there are user-made mods for Spelunky that let people share seeds for speedrunning or score attack or whatever. So take that how you will."
Yeah. I mean, that's one, but you still have that option.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, questions. Number 1. I've been trying to get to hell in Spelunky, parenthetically a secret level that can be entered in the final boss room if you bring a certain book into the room. Just getting the book requires getting 4 artifacts, blah, 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 blah. So the question is, what kind of self-imposed challenges have you played a game through with for fun, even if it's not necessary to beat the game? I think for me, because there was an achievement for it, was the 13% run in Shadow Complex.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty great. I don't think I would have known that was even an option without the achievement.
It was even possible.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. I've never done that with any of the Metroid games. Get the 2-hour 2% run. I've never done any of those.
Yeah. My personal favorite are any no-kill run in a Metal Gear game, which is really hard.
That's what I was going to bring too, including bosses and everything.
Yeah, those are rough. And then no kills and no alarms in the same run on the highest difficulty in Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Oh, dude, you sadist.
You monster.
Yeah, and I did it.
That's crazy.
Oh,
That's 3 achievements at once.
There needs to be a tattoo.
Yeah, exactly. They ship you a certificate.
Yeah.
Certificate and a stencil.
Yeah.
Yep.
Knobs,
man.
what about you?
Leveling up the unlabored flawlessness.
Yeah, and
There's no particular reason to do it because every other weapon in that game at level 3 is utterly overpowered.
Yeah.
But leveling up a wooden sword till it's this ore of death is the most satisfying thing, and the broken wood sound it makes when you hit stuff is totally worth it.
Yeah. Question number 2 is 3 questions in here. Best third-person stealth game? MGS3. I like that one.
Yeah, probably.
Alpha
specifically. Of course.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can play that stealth.
It's good. Yeah. Oh no, Deus Ex Human Revolution. Sorry, Metal Gear.
Person?
So the stealth sections are.
Oh, that's true. Because his next question is best first-person stealth game. Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Yeah. Can it be both?
Thief 1.
That's
Maybe.
true. Yeah. Best 2D stealth game.
Stealth Inc.
That's the only one I can think of, and I've never played.
Yeah.
No. There's a really old one. I can't remember. It was on the Ultimate Genesis collection.
Oh.
I can't remember it.
I don't remember. The very first Wolfenstein game? Not the first-person one, but the third-person one.
The side-scroller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what game that is.
Who knows?
Oh, dude,
Stealth,
Prince of
it's Stealth
Persia.
Inc.
Prince of Persia might as well have been a stealth game.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't have to fight anybody in that game.
I think the
That's
only
true.
one he had to fight was the last boss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Question 3. Most promising early access or alpha/beta title that you've played? Oh,
Most promising and disappointing. What was that car battle game that Bizarre made?
oh, Fuse,
Blur.
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 Or yeah. I would have to unfortunately say Wasteland, or I'd have to say Wasteland 2. It was promising, but I sort of fell off the wagon with it, and I didn't play it enough to really get a full impression of it.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe Mercenary Kings.
Yeah.
I haven't played a ton of early access games. I tend to shy away from those because I don't have enough time to play the early access and then the final. I'd kind of wait for the final.
Yeah.
Titanfall was pretty good early access, the beta.
Meg says Bravely Default. That was the demo.
Yeah.
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 Question number 4. Any stories about your pets and gaming? My Labradors often interrupt my gaming sessions by putting their nose right under my arm and flipping it onto their head, sometimes in the middle of a high-stakes Counter-Strike match. I have a cat, so the idea of a controller is something to be laid upon. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Other than my dog just jumping in my lap while I'm trying to play something and just pinning my arms down, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one that has to be in my chops at all times, and then one that barks at everything that moves outside, and it's so close to the glass it echoes, and it hits my eardrum so sharply that it just just rage. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Oh, what?
Nice.
Question number 5. Anyone excited for Watch Dogs?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still kind of excited. I know there's a lot of hullabaloo surrounding it, but I'm still excited to see what that game is, and see
Yeah.
if it's an Assassin's Creed game, because I still kind of think it is.
I think it is too. I kind of hope it is actually.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be okay.
Yeah.
Question number 6. What kind of blah 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 simulator 2014 would you like to see? You can barely even make this into a joke anymore because the
Yeah,
most
it will
mundane of
happen.
activities is a sellable product.
Yeah. I would like to see band simulator. Not like you have to play the music, but you have to get gigs.
Schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have
and
to-
do all the actual work.
Well, I was gonna say you have to wait. You have to wait backstage for 3 hours while the opening bands play.
Yeah, yeah.
That would-
I can
that would
see
be
that.
what I
Make
wanna
sure
say.
make sure the backstage rider's stocked.
Yeah, stuff
Yes,
like that.
make sure the rider's correct.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Absolutely.
want it to turn into like a management sim game. I would want it to be like living the lifestyle where it's like, oh, you woke up at noon, your show is at 10 p.m. and you don't have a job.
No. No, hold on. They made that game. It was called Desert Bus.
Yeah, that's true. Just your nightmare.
Yeah.
Question number 7. Name a food that defined your childhood.
Koala yummies.
Ooh.
Those were awesome.
Meg says macaroni and cheese. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah. Or grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese is good too, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Mashed potatoes
Okay.
and shrimp cocktail.
Interesting.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
shrimp
Yeah,
cocktail,
mashed-
we used to go to one of those all-you-can-eat Chinese buffets that had shrimp cocktail, and that was all I would eat.
You just
and
gorge yourself.
I was that guy eating all the shrimp cocktail growing up.
Yeah.
Second half of the question. Name a food that defined your adulthood.
Pizza.
Chili.
Just pizza.
I just
Chili and mashed potatoes because of the show.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Meg says charcuterie. Yeah,
Nice.
I like that. It's very much a Modern Family thing where it's like, oh, I had no idea what that is until now I know what it is, and I will eat that.
Nice.
Question number 8. What's a game that you still love despite other people not digging it so much? For me, it's the Army Men series, namely the Sarge's Heroes part of the series. Played them when I was younger, and even though they weren't so great, they still hold a place in my heart. What game was I just talking about earlier in the show where I was like, it's not a good game, but I like it?
Was it Mercenary Kings?
What was
I
it?
think that's what you said it about. It wasn't Mercenary Kings, was it?
No.
No.
I don't know. You're asking
Oh,
me to remember
Assassin's Creed
something. Sure.
Revelations. That's not a
Yes,
good
Oh,
that
yeah.
game.
one.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's not good though.
Yeah. I like the Tokobot games on PSP.
Oh yeah, I never played those games.
I liked it. I don't think a lot of other people did though.
I just
Um,
thought that big bug game for you, Boston.
what game?
The one, the invasion game. What's it called? I can't remember. It's one of those early 360 games.
Oh,
Re
Earth Defense Force 20,
Yes,
whatever.
that's it. EDF.
God,
Yeah,
that game is so good and it's so bad.
that is.
That's a B
Yeah,
movie game. Like that's a
yeah.
trauma game where it's like, look, I had like
Ooh.
$50 and I made a game.
I got a couple. Both of the third-person Castlevania games on PlayStation 2 I
Yep,
loved, and
those
no
are
one
good.
seemed to like
Yeah.
them. And in the same vein, another EGA game is Nano Breaker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
That game was amazing. I
I
don't care what
heard
anybody says.
I was listening or reading to somebody the other day talking a bunch of yang about Castlevania Portrait of Ruin.
Really?
And I was
That
like
game was awesome.
that's not the best Metrovania, but it was still okay. I mean,
It's the most accessible.
It's no
without
order
It
of
was definitely
Ecclesia.
the easiest one.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the easiest, and I think that's why Order of Ecclesia was so hard because people were like, "Well, Portrait of Ruin's too easy." And it's like, well, here
They
you
brought
I
the
go.
bar
love
way down.
Portrait of Ruin.
Yeah,
Love it.
I don't know. I like a lot of bad games.
Yeah.
Just in general, I
that
can
happens.
respect a bad game that tried really hard.
I find it really, as I'm getting older, I'm finding it really hard to hate anything.
Same
Yeah,
here.
Like,
because
it's
I know how much
games.
work went into it.
Yep. I was like, you know what? You know, these guys didn't want to put out a bad product. They did the best they
Yeah.
could with what they had.
Yeah, which might be $200
Yeah.
and an Unreal license. All right, question number 9. Youngins these days have some of their first gaming experiences on smartphones. How will this affect the AAA and other scenes of gaming? I mean, there were microtransactions for items and resources in Dead Space 3, so I don't think we're gonna know for a while. It's
Yeah.
going to.
I don't think
have-
you can know. Yeah,
It's
gonna
going
have
to have an impact,
effect.
but I mean, it seems like $60 games are still selling really well.
Yeah.
So, but is that because of us? I mean, are these two groups of gamers? I would think not, but are they mutually exclusive? I don't
Probably
think
not,
so. But is the person whose primary gaming device a smartphone that doesn't want to pay for $3 games? They're probably not going to pick up a PS4 for $400 and spend $60 a pop. You know, I think. I think it's a different market.
Yeah.
I think it depends on your medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew up sitting in front of the TV, and that's where we like. And if someone enjoys that, that's going to be their own separate thing. I don't think
Yeah.
those two things really conflict in any means.
Yeah.
You'll see the bleed throughout the years, but we're not going to see the big overarching effects of it for 25 years.
Well, I mean, we're seeing the bleed right now. Every single Xbox One launch game had microtransactions in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so I
Oh.
think we're already seeing the bleed. I don't even think it's so much bleed as developers trying to figure out how they can get that sort of spending habit from smartphone games and that sort of
Yeah.
like a dollar here, a dollar there sort of thing into larger games. But I don't think they've found that good middle ground yet.
No,
Well, I
don't
think the
they
problem
have.
is all of us consumers that grew up in games, and now we all have jobs, we got enough money to buy $60 games. When we start seeing us being needled for dollar here, dollar there, we get
Yeah.
annoyed very quickly.
Well, especially on $60 games. That's why I didn't play most of the launch games on Xbox One. Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into Forza and get in the game, and then that first thing you know is like, hey, do you want to buy some coin packs? It's only $20.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, that's not... I bought this game. You know, like, it's not a free download. I purchased this thing.
Yeah.
So, question number
Alright.
10. You have one chance to get someone into gaming with them having not really played games before. What do you choose? For me, I think I think I have two games just
Okay.
off the top of my head that are kind of on both ends of the spectrum. If they're
All right.
really open to trying, Portal would
Okay.
probably be a first good one. It's modern,
Yeah.
it's puzzly, there's no time constraints, it's funny, but the dual stick thing for first time gamers is tough. So
Yeah.
if it's something where you would be worried about them not doing, whoever this person is, not getting the dual stick stuff or being intimidated by that controller, the very first Super Mario Brothers, just Mario
Yeah.
Brothers 1, you know how to play that game from the first time you get killed by the first Goomba. You don't need to know anything else about that game.
Ooh, I was gonna say probably a Peggle.
That's a good
Yeah.
choice.
Something like that works too.
Yep.
Peggle, but your point with Portal 2 is brilliant because you can just plant, name, and shoot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I feel like Portal and Portal 2 are such good games to figure in right brain thing of using dual sticks. Because if you
Yeah.
know the controller well enough, or you're not intimidated by the controller, I feel like anybody can pick up Portal. And sure, the puzzles are going to be a little bit mind bending, but I
Yeah.
feel like with the 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 lack of time constraints that are there, it's not a first person shooter. So it's not, you have to do this or you're going to get shot. It's just sort of like, hey,
Yeah.
man, just figure this puzzle.
Yeah, for sure. I think if I had to pick any one, it would probably be my go-to for any sort of like, oh, here you go, is Mega Man 2. Because it's got all the basics:
Yeah.
jump, run,
That's a
shoot.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's enough puzzly stuff where it's sort of like, which one should I go for first? And it's like, I don't know. Which one should you go for?
and that's a little mean. So hey,
Yeah.
there we go. All
Yeah,
right.
you got to learn sometime.
Yeah.
All right, we've got one more email, but I'm going to save that for next week because we've been recording forever.
Yeah.
And I'm tired, and all of us need to go to the bathroom. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, everyone, for writing in and hanging out in the chat. Everything to follow us, tweet us, whatever, is on tvgp.tv, and everything is on the right-hand side of the page.
And please don't forget to join the forums. Don't forget to mark yourselves on the map because we got a couple more points there. Join us for Monday Night Game Night. That is 10 p.m. EST on the 360. Could be Dead Space 2. Could be Gears of War 3. Could be Assassin's Creed Brotherhood
Who knows?
2.
Yeah.
Who knows? Could be any one of those three. And I saw a question on Twitter about is the DLC required? No.
Not really.
Yeah.
But if there's free stuff, just make sure you have it because I hate to see him miss a round or two because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thursday Night Game Night, 10 p.m. EST on Steam. Join the Steam group. They're a bunch of good guys.
Yep.
Indeed. TVGP Game Club game is currently The Witcher. Started it up. It's great. Check it out. It's on PC.
And it's cheap.
Yes, it is.
It meets the game club requirements. It's cheap, it's available, and it's good.
Yep,
These very stringent entry applications.
for sure.
All right, and don't forget you can watch us twitch.tv/E1M1 Network every week live, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We would love for you to join us and chat in the chat if it's working because Switch Plays Pokemon is still happening.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you all next week.
Laters.
Peace.
All right, I
All
only
right.
have one title.
What do you got?
Shotgun Symphony.
I have that one as well. I'll go through my list, but I think we know what one.
Okay.
Gaming Pantheon, 22 minutes. There's always something to shoot. Titans Falling, Military Term, Shotguns, RPGs, and Helicopters, Blue Bouncy Goop, Fancy Fantasy Term, Shotgun Symphony, Because They're Monsters, The Sprite God, True Character Depth, Oxygen Management, With a Quickness, Giant Monkey Button, Rankings for What, and Nintendoomed.
Oh, Nintendoomed.
Nintendoomed.
Nintendo.
You know-
Is,
Can I also say, we say with the quickness a lot.
Yeah?
with the quickness.
Yeah,
With a quickness, yeah.
we say that a lot.
Okay.
Not a problem.
All right. Nintendoomed?
Nintendoomed. Yeah.
Nintendoomed.
Yeah, I don't see
Alright.
anything that's even
Yeah,
close to that.
easy
That's
winner.
amazing.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 338 for April 14th, 2014. Nintendoomed.
With the quickness.
Doom, doom, doomy, doom, 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 doom.
You guys are terrible. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching us live. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
All right.